we got a lot of work to do. This is going to be like a marathon live stream today. I'm glad that you're here for it. Kim and I were gone for the holiday, so I have a whole lot of shipping to do. So not just from the last 2 days like we typically do. We got, I guess, 6 full days of shipping. We left Tuesday afternoon. So the last time I shipped was Tuesday around noontime. So welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope Thanksgiving was great. December 1st. How about that? We are, if you don't think we're in the holiday season, boy, we are in the thick of it now. We are in the thick of it. So welcome in. Say hello down below in the chat. Love to hear from you. Hope things are going well for you. Hope you're off to a good start to your week. We got a bunch of work to do, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. We got orders on all platforms. What's up, Stu? That live stream, y'all, that stream y'all did the other night, I was howling. I wish you could have seen my face. I was howling. I saw your face, man. I don't know how y'all did that. That was crazy. What's up, Chemo? Welcome in. So we got orders on all platforms: eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon, and chrisatpeak.com. So we got everything from coffee. We got blazers, jackets, jeans, a lot of pants. That was like the big seller this past few days. Yeah, jackets, shirts. I don't think I have any shorts. And I actually don't think there's a single short sleeve shirt in any of this mess. Sweaters. Yeah, there's a lot. We got a lot of work to do. It took me forever to set this up, by the way, and pull out the orders. What were y'all thinking? What were y'all thinking? That was crazy. I think I missed. If you've done that before, I missed it. I didn't catch the beginning of the show. All I just caught was you guys just smashing down hot sauce. I was like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? You all must have had a rough. I can't even imagine what your morning was like after that. What's up, Thrifting Grammy? Thanks for being here. What did I miss? Sophia, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Love to hear from you. Love to hear from how your sales are. I'm going to show you everything that's sold. I'm going to tell you how much it sold for. I'm going to tell you how much I paid for it, profits, all that stuff. We had a whole bunch of orders. I got to get started. There's so much work to do today. It's crazy. Marathon stream. This might be the most orders, except for I've streamed before when I shipped whatnot orders, but this might be the most orders like eBay, Poshmark, that kind of thing that I've done on a stream here on a Monday morning. So should be fun. Buckle in, get yourself something to drink, get yourself some popcorn or whatever. Get comfortable. What was your favorite dish for Thanksgiving? We haven't broken down Thanksgiving yet. What was your favorite dish or side dish or whatever? Who crushed it? I want to hear about it. Jennifer's in the house. What's up? We love our dark roast. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you're enjoying the dark roast. I am enjoying some dark roast that we did cold brew, a little bit of oat milk, and it is delicious. I actually mixed in with that dark roast. I mixed in a little light roast too, just to give it a little pep. So welcome in. Hope you're doing well, everyone. What do we got? Hey man, first time catching you live. Found you from Facebook. Well, welcome in. MSG's Treasures. MSG's like it's like a salt or sodium. Is MSG like that? Or is that like short for something? What do we got? Sophia, Poshmark first. I can't do Poshmark first, Sophia. Normally I give you the, if you knew what was going on, I'll show you here. If you knew what was going on in this office, I have to do eBay first. So those are all the eBay orders, like all put out in order so I don't make mistakes. And then that bag right there is all the Poshmark and Mercari and stuff. So I got eBay everywhere. There's like this little space for me to stand right here, and I'm surrounded by eBay orders. It kind of wraps around me. So I'm going to have to do eBay first, or else I won't be able to move around at all. But I'll do Poshmark after that. What's up, Andrew? How are you, brother? Welcome in. Mac and cheese? That was your favorite side? I like it. Hello from Calhoun. Nobody liked that question except for you, Andrew. You like the mac and cheese. Nobody else has responded to it. They're just like, whatever. I don't want to talk about Thanksgiving. I gained 5 pounds. I'm done with it. My initials, I figured it was probably that, not that you were just like really into MSG, like the salts there. What's up, Leslie? How are you? Hello, Hemlock. Welcome in. 10 Hemlock. Calhoun, Georgia. What's up, Faith? I always appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What do you mean? What's he live on? What does that even mean? What are you talking about, Andrew? I saw at least one of your comments over the weekend, Andrew. I think it made me laugh, if I remember correctly. All right, what am I doing here? Where was I? So we're going to be shipping eBay all the way from Fran to Frank. My first order will be Fran. My last order is Frank. Just getting all these shipping labels separated, and we'll get going. Banana pudding. I like it. See, Faith is in on it. What was my favorite? Gosh, there's so much good stuff. You know, my sister-in-law makes, I know it sounds crazy, but she makes egg rolls, and it was kind of like is a little like appetizer to our dinner. We had a kind of a traditional Thanksgiving. We did Kim did two bourbon maple roasted chickens as we had. So we had chicken instead of turkey, but everything else was kind of traditional. We had the cranberry sauce, we had the sweet potatoes, the like mashed sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, stuffing. Yeah, we had all that stuff. What did I miss? But the egg rolls that my sister-in-law made, my goodness, those were good. They were great. As I had one for breakfast the next morning as my leftovers. What's up, Maureen? How are you? Good morning from snowy Wyoming. How much snow did you get out there, piece of scrap? Hope you're doing well. AJ here. I went full-time watches in July. Boss, loving your life now. Is this the AJ? AJK? My first grade buddy? Is that? I can't see your photos. So yeah, that is you. You look dapper in your photo, by the way, like your little screenshot there. So full-time watches. I like that, man. No more selling stuff for other people, getting other people rich. You're doing your thing. I respect it, man. That's awesome. Hell yeah, man. Thanks for popping in. That's really cool. I'd love to hear more about it too. At some time we should catch up. That would make me happy. I would enjoy that. You still up in Boston, the Beantown area? My sales have tanked since they started making changes. I use Nifty in almost 2,000 listings. I would say just sort of like ride the storm. These platforms make these changes, and I would say like just don't make any crazy changes right now. Just let things sort of settle out a little bit. Oftentimes they make changes, they see how things go, they kind of pull some things back, they make some adjustments, and you'll probably be fine. My Poshmark sales are great right now. So it's funny, whenever something like this happens, some people say like, man, my Poshmark sales are way up, and some people say they're way down. There's nobody in between. It's always the polar opposites. Poshmark's dead or Poshmark's hot. So yours is dead. Somebody else is down below in the chat is going to say it's higher than ever. So I'd say just sort of ride the storm, make it through. Don't make any changes without seeing 90 days worth of sales before. So, you need like some sample size data. I'll ping you this week. Gloucester. Nice. To me, that's like Boston. It's so freaking far away. But yes, I know Gloucester isn't exactly Boston. But for me, that's Boston. I'd have to fly into Boston Airport. What's up, Mandy? What's cracking, cowboy? I don't know if anyone's called me a cowboy on one of these streams before, but I'll take it. I'm doing good, brother. How are you, Jack? Riding the storm out. Oh yeah, y'all are getting like a bunch of weather up north, aren't you? Is that the thing? Is that a thing? We got Loreto, Mexico. No way. What are you doing in Mexico? And why wasn't I invited? What is going on, Nick? How are you? You're over there on IG today. Julie is in the house. Welcome, Julie. Good to have you in. All right, I got to get some work done. We have so many orders going out the door. Here's how my weekend went. And this, I actually double checked, and this is how it went last year too. The 5 days before Thanksgiving, I was slow, below average sales every single day. Like average sales for me is about 11 a day lately. And so basically it was like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, those 5 days. Every single day was like 8 orders or 6 orders or 7 orders. It was like 8, 6, 7, 6, 8, 8. And then Thanksgiving hit, and then I went back to above average. So it was like 12, 13, 12, 13, 14, like since then. So I looked back at last year, it was the same exact thing. And the 5 days before Thanksgiving were below average. And then I went back to like average or above after that. So I don't know, thought that was interesting. I wasn't kind of expecting that, but sometimes you look back at your numbers and you're like, it makes sense. We joined mom and dad for traditional Thanksgiving menu at Post 25 in Skyline, and it was freaking delicious. J-Dub and Alexander. That's awesome. So we go to Post 25 once a week. You may or may not know this. So we were there Saturday evening when we got back into town, we stopped into Post 25. That's like our usual haunt. We get there either like Friday or Saturday night pretty much every week. So we get the recap from the staff about how busy Thanksgiving was and all that stuff. So, and they were slow Saturday, but Thanksgiving, they said they were crazy. So that's cool. We love that spot. Illinois, very cold and snowy. Gotcha. How much snow are you supposed to get up there? Found 2 CC Filson shirt this past week. Was really excited. That's crazy. That's a good week. That's a good week, Faith. If you told me this week I was going to find 2 CC Filson shirts, I'd be like, man, this is going to be a good week. I hope I do. That would be great. So congrats on that, Faith. My family makes fresh tamales. My sister makes a tamale casserole and a layer of tamales, a layer of refried beans. And, oh my God, it's gracious. That sounds good. Sophia, I want that. My brother-in-law has a yacht, so he spent some time with the fam. Nick, that's awesome. Hello, we got Peru in the house too. What's up, Johnny Martin? How are you? Welcome in. I'll have 6 orders to ship off when I get home. That's awesome, Johnny. So you running? Is this an eBay hustle that you're running out there in Peru? Man, that's awesome. That's really cool. I'd like to hear more about that. How does that work in Peru? Is shipping really expensive? I just never know what it's like in other countries. So I don't think I've ever talked to a reseller in Peru. So this is fun. What's up, Johnny? I had my best sale so far this weekend. Some new Doc Martin boots got triple my investment. I was blown away. Nice. Emma, how much did you get for those Doc Martens? I'm curious. That's awesome. I'm excited about your big sale. We got 5-ish. Some places got 11 and 12. That's a lot of snow, eh? Just picked up 18 pairs of Guess jeans for $200. Nice. What is that? Like $10 a pair, $11 a pair? Are they new with tags? Tell me more about these Guess jeans. Are they vintage? What's the deal with those? Side business from the States, just visiting Peru. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Hope you have a nice trip in Peru. Is this like a little vacation, or is this a work trip? But that sounds cool. Just visiting Peru, man. I want to be in Peru. That would be cool. All right, first order. Yeah, that's a good one. We're just going to go from this was a Tuesday afternoon order, and we're going to go all the way up through Monday. We got a lot of work to do. First up, Polo Ralph Lauren corduroy on this one, pony on the chest. These corduroy Polo Ralph Lauren shirts sell really, really well for me. This one sold really quick, $29.99. I paid $5 at the thrift store. I'll tell you how long it took to sell. 2 days to sell on this. So I listed this on Sunday, and it sold on Tuesday. Corduroy's hot right now this time of year, and these Polo Ralph Lauren corduroy shirts sell really well. Second one that I've sold this fall, and second one that sold really quickly. I don't have any more in stock. That's the way it goes with these. No, not new with tags. Gotcha. I did not know that. It's a favorite of ours as well. Everyone laughed because I ordered the obligatory tiger sauce for the turkey, and they made it happen. That's awesome. You got the tiger sauce on the turkey. You are a champion. You are a freaking champion, JW. If you ask the bartenders about me, they know me down there. I don't think they know me as Chris. They might know me as Chris at Peak, but you said the regulars Chris and Kim that sit at the bar once a week don't know who I am. If you ask the bartenders, Fran, we have like a crew of people that are always regulars there that we run into. Where is there? I gotta get going. Y'all are chatty this morning. I've been live now for 12 minutes, and I have shipped exactly 0 items. So, Fran, we're going to get going. We're going to get shipping. Where is my thank you card for Fran? You should see my desk. There's so many thank you cards sprawled out here, and they are in order in theory. Here it is. Gotcha. Yo, we got coffee to ship out. We got Amazon. We got Mercari. We got Poshmark. Poshmark was pretty good over the weekend. But still $11 a pair should at least double my money. Nice. I don't really know much about Guess jeans, men's, women's, but you're probably smarter than me on that stuff. Thank you. Yes, vacations. White's parents are missionaries here. That's really cool. It's really cool. I always love hearing what people are up to. Speaking of, look at who just showed up. What's up, Cohen? My man. What's happening, Cohen? How was Thanksgiving, brother? Did y'all travel for Thanksgiving? I haven't talked to Phil or Christine in a little bit. I talked to Phil maybe 3 weeks ago, but did you travel for Thanksgiving? Did you go visit family? Let me know if you want to. Next up is a carbon to cobalt sweater. This actually sold quicker than I thought, but of course this is the season where you're going to sell sweaters pretty quickly. So there's the label right there. It's kind of like a waffle open knit kind of job on this. Men's size extra large. This sold on eBay for $26.99. I believe that was my full asking price. And that sold fast. That sold in 1 day. So I listed it on Monday. It sold on Tuesday. How about that? $26.99. I paid $5 for it at a thrift store. I'll tell you the exact profit numbers on this. It's a lot of sweaters today, y'all. A lot of jeans, a lot of pants, some jackets. No, I don't think there's a single short sleeve shirt. And there's no shorts. let's see what the stats are on this. So after my fees and my shipping label, it's going to leave me with $21.64. Is that right? Yeah. So $21.64, and I paid $5. So my profit's $16.64, which is a good solid average profit for me. Remember, this is a volume game. I'm not flipping houses. I'm not flipping cars. I'm flipping items that, sell for about 25 bucks on average. So this one's $26.99, and we made $16 after everything. My shipping supplies average about 15 cents. People ask about shipping supplies all the time. Yeah, but what about all those shipping supplies? They cost about 15 cents per package. That's including the shipping label. That's including my thank you stickers. That's including my thank you card. That's including the clear bags that I put everything in. And that's also including these bags, the poly shipping bags there. So everything on average is going to be about 15 cents per order. I haven't linked the tools for you. I'm going to do that right now. All our recommended reselling supplies are, boom, right there at that link down below in the chat. So if you're wondering what I use for something or what's the best vendor, everything that I order is right down there below. You just got to click that link and you can see everything that I use. And those are, so that it's good stuff, because I've used crappy stuff over the years. I've had bad vendors over the years, and these are the ones that I've settled on. And good quality stuff for good prices. Everything that's linked down there, the exact stuff I use. If you have any questions about that stuff, let me know. The document's pretty comprehensive, though. Next up, we get a lot of Levi's going out. Jeans and pants like crazy, but definitely some Levi's. 514, men's size 32 by 30, sold for full asking price $21.99 on these. I feel like this was a quick sale. 47 days, so a month and a half on a pair of Levi's. I paid $5. Probably made about $12 profit on these. Let's see what it is. What's the preparation for sales? Tell me a little bit more about what you mean. I'm not really 100% sure I understand your question. Maybe if you give me some context, I can respond. Love the question. I'm here for it. So this is going to Leonard. Thank you, Leonard. This is going to Arcata, California. So clear across the country. This is going at a 2-pound rate. So this will be $9.74. Going from Asheville, North Carolina, all the way to the other coast. Arcata, California. And $9.74. The buyer paid $8.95 shipping. So technically on that one, I lost about 79 cents, but on other ones I make about $1, so it all averages out. I just do flat rate shipping. So the vintage 60s Pendleton wool coat for $1.25 over the weekend. What? Got it for free from my brother, who got it from a shelter that they had excess clothing from Hurricane Helene. I can only imagine how much extra clothing stuff was coming in by the truckloads. It's so hard to distribute that stuff, to get it in the hands of the right people at the right time, the right size, all that stuff. So many people wanted to donate clothes to me, but I had no way to get clothes in the hands of the right people. A lot of these places weren't taking clothes. They were overwhelmed with it. It's so hard to find. Like, everyone just thinks like, oh, just donate clothes or donate food. It's so hard to get the things to people that need it at the right time. It's just very, very difficult. It's very complicated. So people were very, very generous, and they were like, I'm going to donate all these clothes to you. And I was like, no, I'm going to get stuck with them and sell them on eBay. No, I wouldn't do that. But places weren't accepting it. It's just so hard to distribute that stuff accurately. Next order's for Thomas. Nothing fancy here. Brooks Brothers. Men's size large, button-down shirt. I buy and sell these all the time. I look for modern in-style patterns like this one right here, like that plaid pattern. If this was like an old school, just like, I don't know, thin stripe, kind of pinstripe shirt, I probably wouldn't have picked it up, but that nice pattern. It's even better if they have the logo on the chest. This one doesn't have it. But anyways, this sold for best offer of $19 on eBay, and I paid $5 for it. This took 89 days to sell, so 3 months. I'll call that a W. They're a low sell-through rate item, like a lot of the stuff that we sell. Low sell-through rate. They are in high demand. There's just a lot of supply, and that's what makes this a lower sell-through rate item. But if you look for the more modern patterns, they'll sell better. I pass by now a lot of the basic stuff, although plain white is money. From store to customer. Cleaning process. I don't buy things that need to be cleaned. I try not to buy things that need any like repairs or anything. I just buy items that are in really good condition and take photos of them, measure them, list them on eBay. I use a product called Nifty, which is, it has a built-in AI listing tool. So all I do is drop the photos into Nifty. Nifty writes the item title, writes the description, and then when I hit go, it puts it onto eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari all at once. So that's what I use. I'll drop a link to that, to a free trial of that if you want, down below in the chat. But that's my process. There's that link. If you use that link, you want to go check it out, you can try it for your business for 7 days for free, no strings attached. And if you like it, you can sign up after the 7 days. You'll get 15% off your first month. I love Nifty. But that's my process. And I try to avoid things that have like stains or need repairs. It just slows me down. It's just not my thing. What is the last day you shipped? I shipped on Tuesday around noontime. So we get about 6 days worth of sales. I am buried. The whole floor is just covered with eBay orders right now. Then we'll get into Posh orders, and we'll get into coffee orders and Amazon orders and Mercari orders. I actually had Mercari sales. How about that? But welcome in, welcome in. Is this really peak? What's up, Reisner? What did I do to deserve Reisner in my chat? This is awesome. Stacy, I hope you're well. Thanks for popping in. It was good to see your face yesterday. You didn't get to see mine, but I get to see yours. This is a really quick sale to somebody who sent me an offer. They mentioned that they were a reseller too. I don't know who it was, but anyway, this is going to Juan. This is a pair of Key Carpenter jeans. Looks like the overalls sell really, really well, but these are just kind of like I think these were like a double knee, like kind of heavy. I don't pick up a lot of Key. Yeah, these were a double knee. So like like heavy duty work pants. I don't pick up the regular Key stuff. Anyway, this sold on a best offer, $22.99. And they took 2 days to sell. So nice quick sale on that. I paid $5 at the thrift store. I mean, these are like super heavy. These are going out at a 3-pound rate. They're over 2 pounds because of that like double knee. They're actually in really, really nice shape too. Like kind of like one of those pairs that looks, has anybody actually worn this? So these are going out the door. Thank you, Juan. Going to Delaware. Appreciate your purchase. I guess from one reseller to another. Nice quick sale right there. How much you get started with? Jamie, I went to the thrift store with my buddy, Jay Hayes, who had just gone full-time in this business. I met him at a thrift store out in Denver, Colorado. He showed me the ropes. I think the first time I went, I think I spent $75. Huge thrift store. We were there for like 3 hours. Jay Hayes picked up like $750 worth of stuff because he had a trained eye. He knows what he's looking for. He's moving fast. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, moving slow. So $75 is what I started with an inventory, and just bought myself some poly bags and, a shipping scale, and made handwritten thank you cards instead of like things like this. I actually have cards now, but back then just handwritten little notes in each package, and just got started. So $75 worth of inventory. I sold some stuff out of my own closet, which is a great way to get started too. Then you don't need any. Investment. Hi from California Central Coast. What's up, Leslie? Leslie's in the house. Appreciate you saying hello. Which Nifty level are you using? I'm currently using Tech and Sports AI listing and wanted to branch off to Poshmark. So I use the Nifty automation plus cross listing. So it's $69.99. Automation plus cross listing. It also has built in, that's the AI listing tool is built into that price too. You also get all the analytics and built into that too. So that's the plan that I use. $69.99, and I still pay for it. Yes, I have an affiliate link for Nifty, but I still pay for Nifty every single month. I've been using it for 18 months now, and since I made the switch, there is no looking back. Hope that helps. And to me, I've looked at the pricing of, from what I heard, Tech sold that, and now they rebranded it. Do I have that right, Bassin Coffee? Did he sell it and they rebranded it to something new? But anyway, to me, the price that you pay for that, you might as well get Nifty, save yourself some money, and get more tools. That's my thought process. But everybody to each their own, as they say. Next up is a carbon and cobalt. This is going to Glen in Plymouth, New Hampshire. No freaking way. I like Plymouth, New Hampshire. Some of you might know I lived in New Hampshire for 31 years, not in Plymouth. Plymouth is up right near the White Mountains, kind of like on at the beginning, really, of the White Mountains. And I really like that town. I always said if I moved back to New Hampshire, I would be interested in Plymouth because it's so close to all that hiking and skiing. I'm sure Plymouth has grown up a lot. I haven't been there in probably a decade, but nice little town. There's some great climbing right there too. Sport climbing. A place called Rumney. I missed that place. So this is a carbon to cobalt shirt. This sold on a best offer of $18. Carbon to cobalt is one of those kind of low sell-through rate. Used to sell a lot better, but lower sell-through rate. The prices come down a little bit. I used to sell it for like 24, 25. Now I sell it for like 18 to 22. But actually 2 carbon and cobalt things going out the door already today. So this one for $18, I paid $5 at the thrift store. Probably about $10 in profit on here. Nothing crazy, but it all adds up. How long did that take to sell? 87 days. So just under 3 months on that one. So that's a W. And next up is an item that I no longer pick up anymore, with some exceptions. I'll pick up some new tag ones, and I'll pick up FootJoy when it has like nice, unique patterns, like all over prints. And if it has a country club logo that is like a really in demand, like highly rated country club, I'll pick up a FootJoy too. But most of the time I'll pass on these. The reason is this one sold for $14.40. I had it in my inventory for a good little while. I recently lowered the price on it. Let's see, how long did I have it? I had this for 2 years. So I recently went and lowered the price on it, and then Nifty sent a 10% off best offer to somebody who watched this item on eBay. So it went out the door for $14.40. I used to sell FootJoy really consistently in the low 20s, but like a lot of brands, they go up, they go down. Oh, I said I didn't sell any short sleeve shirts. I actually did sell one. This is it. I thought I had no short sleeve shirts. But anyway, $14.40 on that. That's a get rid of it price. It did have a Lake Lure on the sleeve. It had a Lake Lure Country Club. Lake Lure is a desirable kind of vacation town with a nice golf course, nice kind of like resort course up there. I thought that maybe that would help sell it, but it took a little while. It is going to Rock Hill, South Carolina. So I bet you this is going to somebody who vacations in like if you saw on the news, Chimney Rock, which got really wrecked up by the storm. That area was one of the hardest hit areas. That's where Lake Lure is. Lake Lure is at the bottom of the river, which is the Broad River, which is what wiped out downtown Chimney Rock. Lake Lure is just south of Chimney Rock, the town. And that's kind of where like all the debris ended up filling up that lake. But beautiful lake, beautiful area. One of our favorite rock climbing areas is right there, called Rumbling Balls. And but anyway, that's why I picked that one up, because I thought the country club logo would help sell it. It didn't. Eventually it did. It's going to Rock Hill. I bet you that's a person who knows and loves Lake Lure, maybe has golfed at that resort before. So anyway, out the door, $14.40. We got an order from Malika. This was a nice quick sale. Good. Starting to clear out some room so I can walk around in here. So this is an Eddie Bauer EB650 down jacket. This is a women's size medium. I picked this up for $7. It took 12 days to sell, and it was on a best offer of $44.99. EB650 Eddie Bauer. Love picking up Eddie Bauer down. Obviously, especially this time of year. Down stuff is selling like crazy. So 12 days on this one. Going to Aspen, Colorado. How about that? Cold up there. You know, this isn't really like a super warm puffer jacket. It's more of like a lightweight one. So this isn't like a batten down the hatches. It's, 0 degrees and snowing in Aspen. It's kind of more like an everyday kind of jacket. But I hope Malika likes it either way. Do you focus on man clothes? Mostly men's clothes, but I sell women's clothes too, like this women's jacket that's going out the door right here. I've been picking up a lot of new with tags brands I don't normally pick up, and they've been selling. Ben Hogan and Pro Tour. Nice. I usually don't I usually don't mess with those brands. Just a low resale value, and I just can't get them cheap enough. I guess if I could get them at the bins or something like that, I'd probably pick them up. But I don't really do a lot of bins. For $5, I don't grab those. But I like your hustle. I love everybody's hustle, and I appreciate y'all sharing the different things that y'all do that make sense and work for your business. That's cool. Next up is going to Ennis. This is going to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So keeping it local here. Polo Ralph Lauren. This is a men's size 2XL. It's one of those estate rib quarter zips. These cotton quarter zips have been selling really quickly. People tell me these are really in style right now. The quarter zip is a thing. So this took 3 days to sell. It's a good size too, men's 2 extra large. Sold on a nifty best offer, $24.30. So Ennis came in and liked this item or watched it on eBay. Nifty waited 10 minutes to see if Ennis would buy it full price. Ennis didn't. So Nifty sent him a 10% off offer, which he accepted. Done deal, $24.30. I paid $5 at the thrift store. Love that automation, baby, especially when I'm away and spending time with family. I love that stuff just happens. This probably sold last Wednesday, or it might have actually been Thanksgiving Day when this sold. Let's take a look. The 26th. The 26th was the Wednesday, right? Yeah. So it sold the day before Thanksgiving Eve. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing well. If you're just popping into the live, I'm shipping out all my orders all the way from last Tuesday. So we started in chronological order with Tuesday afternoon orders. Now I'm working on Wednesday orders. We're going to go all the way up through real time right now. Mail lady's here. I'm going to put these packages out for her. Have a good day. All right. What are we at? We got a Brooks Brothers. Just so many of these common staple brands we're shipping out. Like last one was Polo Ralph Lauren. The one before that is Eddie Bauer. The one after this is going to be Levi's, like staple, just Americana sort of brands that is just, we sell so much of this stuff. And it's not high margin. It's usually not like high sell-through rate kind of stuff, but some of the stuff sold really fast. But anyway, Brooks Brothers, this one went out the door fairly quickly. This is like a lightweight flannel, more of like less of a dress shirt and more of like a weekend shirt. Men's size 2 extra large. This one took 13 days to sell. It sold on a best offer of $19.99. I got a lot of offers on this shirt really quickly. Everyone seemed to want to pay like $15 for the shirt. That was like the common offer that I was getting, $15. But I held out for 13 days and I got my $19.99. I paid $5 for it at the thrift. This one had the logo on the chest too, which is definitely a helpful thing. And the fact that it was like a lightweight flannel, nice neutral gray color. It did get a lot of offers, a lot of interest, but everyone wanted to pay $15. I'm happy that Danius came in and wanted to pay $19.99. I got the challenge is officially over. I got to dig out my numbers for that and double check. Maybe I'll do that like later in the live. I'll sit down and look at the numbers for it. I just have to go through the spreadsheet and count it up. But it is technically over. It would have ended on the 29th, would have been the last day of my selling 90 Levi's in 90 days. I think I'm really close. I don't think I hit 90. But I think I might have been like really close, like 87 or something like that. But again, I gotta count it up and kind of see where we're at. But that's a Brooks Brothers out the door. Speaking of Levi's, here's the second pair that we're shipping out from the weekend. And actually, this is the second pair of 514s. This one's new with tags, men's size, 36 by 30. I found 3 of these for $12 a piece. So one listing, right? One round of photos and measurements. I set the quantity to 3. I paid $36 total for 3 of them. This one sold for $34.99. Not huge margin there, but what I like to call easy money on that, like multi-quantity stuff. Big fan of that. I'll pay up. especially if I can get multi-quantity, because for me it's dollars per hour. And, you know, the shipping time is like nothing. You'll see how quickly the shipping of this goes out the door. But most of the time you spend with these items is listing them. So if I can get a quantity 3 or even better, a quantity 6 or a quantity 10, I'm willing to pay a little bit more money and take a little bit lower margin because, you know, it's more money per SKU. So we'll go over the numbers on this one because this is a really common flip for me. These like 12, 13, I pay between $12 and $16 for Levi's new tags on clearance when I find them. So let's go through the numbers of this one because this is like a core part of my business. And it's something that I really love selling, especially this time of year when jeans and Levi's are really hot. So after the fees, so I have transaction fees and ad fees on this. After those fees and the shipping label, which costs $7.67, that leaves me with $26.74. I paid $12. So my margin on this pair of jeans is $14.74. So I spent $12 to make a profit of $14.74. But remember, I'm going to sell 2 more of these too, so 3 in total. So 14 times 3, you know, basically I'm going to make, what is that, $42 off these, 42 and change. So off of one listing, I'll take $42 off one listing all day, right? Right? I mean, that seems like good math to me. But that's a big part of my business. I pick those up whenever I can find them between 12 and $16. I'll grab them retail clearance and flip them in the $30 range, you know, 30 plus. So crazy question. Do you leave dry cleaning tag on or off? If it's like in the way, I'll take it off. Like if it's in the way of me photographing the tags that would identify the item to the customer, then I take them off. Otherwise I just leave them. There's no right or wrong to that. It's better and easier to put the label on the poly mailer before you put them inside. That way it's completely flat and avoids any creases. Then you can put the item inside. Thank you, Mark. Everybody's got different ways of doing things, and that's cool. What's the word of the day? The word of the day is surfy. That's the word of the day, brother. How are you, Surfs? How are you, brother? If y'all aren't following Surfs Up Finds, I'm going to go ahead and put his name on the screen right there. He creates content for reselling on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. He's worth a follow on any or all of those platforms. I watch him and learn, right? So if you watch me to learn and I watch him, then shouldn't you be watching him, right? That's the logic there. He does a really great job. Good teacher. Literally a teacher too, a former teacher. I spent 5 days in Asheville with storm relief, helped cleaned out the veterans home with Team Rubicon, stripped completely down to the cinder blocks. Man, appreciate that work. There's so much of that. I appreciate every person who put even an hour of labor. And it sounds like you did a lot more than an hour. And anybody who sent money or support and all that stuff. So I appreciate that so much. We still have a lot of work to do around here. Some places are doing great. Other places, it's going to be like a 5 or 10 year plan. It's a lot, but we're grateful for everybody that's pitched in. So thank you, MSG, my favorite salt. That's smart, Faith. That's smart. I like it. I like it. All right, and we appreciate you. We appreciate all you following. Those two are smart cookies. I sold 2 of these this weekend, and these have been sitting around forever. I finally lowered the price a little bit lower to get them gone. This is an RLX, like little full zip jacket sweater, somewhere in between thing. The retail price on these is $228. For me, RLX has been a kiss of death. RLX has really gone downhill. Like even really nice items, high MSRP like this, they used to sell well. It's golf. These golf brands, I'm telling you, the golf fashion goes up and down so quickly. If this was 3 years ago, this RLX would have probably sold for $90. It sold for $51. It's fine. I'll take it. I bought a whole bunch of these. Some of them sold fairly quickly. Some of them sat around for a couple of years. But we got 2 of them that sold over the weekend. So $51 on this one on a best offer. We'll get it out the door. This is going to Mehmet. Anyway, in Chatsworth, California. So thank you, Mehmet, if I'm saying that right. At least Cyber for Me started a sale on live this morning. Nice, man. What did you do for your, what's your sale? I'm assuming you're talking about an eBay sale. I like it. You know what I hate about eBay sales is as soon as I put stuff on sale, I feel like I get a ton of lowball offers on those items, which is fine. It's all part of the game, but I don't know if anybody else notices that. whenever I have something on sale, like when I start a sale, it's an immediately like a flood of people who want it for 50% off my sale price every time I do it. I don't do them very often anymore. It seems like if the people see the line through the price, right, they're like, cool, this is discounted already, so I'm going to try to discount them another 50% off. That's my experience with it. Got an Eileen Fisher here, nice little piece. I think this sold pretty quickly. This is a women's size small. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you can see the tag through there, but I promise you it says Eileen Fisher on that tag. This is a wool full zip, like mock neck little sweater, women's size small. Sold for $34.99. How long did it take to sell? It took 23 days to sell. So $34.99 on eBay. I paid $5 for this at a thrift store. I was happy to find this one. I like picking up Eileen Fisher. You know, I'm nowhere near the smartest reseller when it comes to reselling women's clothes. A lot of what I sell for women's clothes are actually like what I refer to as crossover brands, right? They're men's and they're women's brands. So that's how I've learned to pick up a lot of women's clothing, but I don't know a lot of the women's only brands. Eileen Fisher being a women's only brand. And they are a good seller. But Eileen Fisher is one I've known for a while. I like this brand. What do we got going on? Welcome everybody. If you're just popping in, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. If you've been here the whole time, I appreciate you being here too. I'm here for questions. I'm here to hear about your business too. I want to hear about all that stuff. Jump in the chat. Let me know what you sold this weekend. And if you have any questions about this business, this is exactly why I do this live stream. It's to give you a good, honest glimpse into this business that I run out of our house, that we've run out of the home for 7 years. It started as a little side hustle in our 1-bedroom apartment in Denver on the 4th floor. And so don't think like you need a ton of space to make this happen. We made it happen in our little 1-bedroom apartment and just sort of made it work and grew from there. So, and we've done it in 3 different states now. We did it in Colorado, we did it in Florida, and now we've done it here in Asheville, North Carolina. And in all different size, shapes, homes. We do not have a big, glorious home here, but we do have a 1-car garage that it is become our warehouse of sorts, which is a magic weapon for us for sure, or a nice, good advantage to our place that we're in. This is the 2nd bedroom of our home right here, and this is just totally the office. Now, if somebody wants to come stay over, I can move some things around, put a blow-up mattress in here, and make it a bedroom for a night or two, but then they got to get out of my way so I can get stuff shipped out and whatever. But simple home, and it's just a 2-bedroom house. Kim works in our bedroom, is where she's got her office set up, and she's fully remote, work from home. So we make it work in our little space. It's just the 2 of us. We don't have kids, so I guess that makes things a little bit easier. But so anyway, let me know if you have any questions. This is just a humble little business out of our house that really anybody can do. And like I said, we've run this business in 3 different markets, different size and shape homes, and we've made it work. Next up, is a brand new tags Polo Ralph Lauren piece. Really beautiful snowflake Nordic kind of pattern on this one. So this sold for $139.98. I believe that was the best offer, $139.98 to Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. Really happy with this sale. I think I had 3 of these, and now 2 of them have sold. I actually had an offer this morning on the 3rd one, but it wasn't I forget what it was, but it wasn't we weren't close. I think they wanted it for under $100, but the retail price on this is a lot. I forget what it was. Let me look. I want to say $189. It might be higher though. $248 is the retail price on that, if you care. I'm going to show you this piece. This is worth a second look. I'm going to share my screen so you can see this sale. It is worth it. Look at that piece. Isn't that awesome? These kind of bold, unique Polo Ralph Lauren can sell for good money. Isn't that awesome? Not really my style, but I think it's cool. If you were wearing it, I would like it. If I had started when I run a sale, disabled best offer after the sale, I bulk edit it and give people the opportunity for best offer again. I like that. It's a cool strategy. I can dig it. Almost end of the year tax prep ? Yeah, I'm not working on it yet, but maybe some people are working on that kind of stuff. Good morning, Frenchie. It was rough work. Slept in a closet bed in a FEMA trailer, but was very rewarding. Jeez, I appreciate it. Yeah, there wasn't exactly great accommodations around here for a little while. So I appreciate your discomfort and everything you did. I know that you felt the appreciation from people in the area. You could probably just tell by the look in those people's eyes how much they needed help. So appreciate your work there. Next up, a vintage Wrangler shirt. I was in a thrift store chitty-chatting with another reseller that I bump into from time to time. And we were both kind of doing our thing, and we were kind of like showing each other what we found. I'm like, what do you think about this vintage Wrangler flannel? He's like, I saw it and I passed on it. He's like, I don't really pick those up. It can be a slow mover. I'm like, I agree. It can be a slow mover too, but I'm going to give it a go. And I picked it up. It sold for a best offer of $22. It's a flannel. It's vintage, and it's got the pearl snaps. And it's kind of like a heavier weight flannel. Really kind of cool piece. It's like I guess it's like a twill flannel. So kind of heavy, thicker. Can't really show you the tag just the way it's set in there, but this is a size 16 by 33. It measures like a men's medium. Not the best size for something like this. Anyway, it's going to Fort Wayne, Indiana on a best offer of $22. I'll tell you how long it took to sell. I want to say I picked it up in August, but my memory is not always the greatest there. I picked it up in July. And it's a heavy flannel, so I kind of didn't expect to sell it in the summer. And it sold in November the 27th. So it took, 4 months to sell? Almost 5 months to sell. Kind of expected with a piece like that, but I'm willing. I know that there's a buyer for a piece with like a nice pattern and stuff like this. So I'm willing to wait for it. That guy is more of like a high sell-through rate kind of guy, and he only picks up items that fit certain criteria. He is a self-described disciple of tech and sports, where it's all about high sell-through rate, and you have to make $20 or more profit per item. So he passes on a lot of the stuff that I pick up that ends up being kind of like the foundation of my business. Two different business models, both of them work. His model works for him. My model works for me. And we can both go to the same thrift stores and still walk out of there with stuff. So I always enjoy talking to him too. He's a good cat. He always teaches me something too. He always teaches me. I swear he makes it like his responsibility. He's like, all right, Chris is here. I gotta teach him something. I gotta show him a sale or something to look for that he probably doesn't know. And he always like digs into his phone. He's like, I'll find one for you. I'll find something to teach you. I appreciate that. I learn more from all y'all than you probably think. Next up is an order for Dustin. Jason, I found a nice wool blazer, but has a bit of cologne smell to it. Is that a deal breaker? I would probably try to treat the smell. So what I do is I'll use a Febreze. I'll just like hit it with some Febreze, and I'll hang it out in the sun. Like that's the key, like sun, fresh air, and see what happens with it. That's what I do. I try not to put a lot of work into stuff for me to go. I mean, in the time I took to describe that, I could have just hosed it down with some Febreze. I have a little nail that I put on the front deck, which is specific for this, where I just go and take the hanger and I hang it there, and I let it get sun. Sometimes I let it get sun for a couple of days. I take it in overnight, but then I'll put it back out if it still needs some more sun. So that's what I do. I just don't like to put a lot of work into things, but you could also dry clean it too. I just don't like doing that either. My sister and I have a small part-time eBay store. I made $600 profit on Black Friday. Heck yeah. What did you sell on Black Friday to make $600 in profit? You must have had a lot of sales. I want to hear more about that. But congrats on your big day. I love hearing about that. I love hearing about your W's. This order is for Dustin. This is a Cabela's. I don't pick up all Cabela's. I probably pick up more Cabela's than you because I have a tolerance for picking up lower sell-through rate items and waiting for them to sell. I also have a pretty good low STR sales machine that we use to get good results in our process. But Cabela's Safari, I recommend that everybody picks up. It's a good seller. This is kind of like a heavyweight shirt. It's got the epaulettes on the shoulders, like those buttons up here on the shoulders with the flap. It's got a bunch of pockets and stuff too. I'm going to show you a picture of this one because you need to see it. These Cabela's Safari shirts do well, and actually Safari shirts from a lot of different brands tend to be good sellers, even if it's like a mediocre brand. So here's what I'm talking about. So you got if you zoom in, you got the epaulettes right there, and you got the double chest pocket. So it's like a military field / safari style right there. So you can see the tag. Cabela's Safari. Sometimes you'll find shirts like this that they don't say like Cabela's Safari, or they don't call out Safari, but you can still use that as a keyword that people search for if you have the epaulettes on it, if you have the chest pockets, especially in this tan color. I feel like this is like Safari official. If I were going on a safari, I feel like this is the shirt that I would wear. This one was a short sleeve one, but you can get them in long sleeve too. The long sleeve, I feel like, sell a little bit better. This one sold for a best offer $24.99. I sell them anywhere between $25 and $30 is pretty typical for these for me. And let's see here. So out the door, I paid $5 for this at the thrift store. If you care, do you have a special Christmas coffee blend? Frenchie, we're going to be launching our light roast for the winter, our winter light roast, actually this week. So all I have left of the fall light roast is what got roasted this past Tuesday. Is just this, and then after this, we're going to have the winter light roast, brother. Which I actually just got an email today with like the tasting notes. When I went by I visited Dynamite on Tuesday to pick up an order because we were going to be out of town. So on our way out of town, I picked up our coffee at the roastery because we were driving right by it, and got a chance to visit with them a little bit. And that's when they told me that that they'll be switching over to winter. But at the time, they were still like that day, and they said ultimately on Friday is when they were going to finally like do like the taste, like what they call cupping, which is like the tasting of the coffee, so that you can like get the proper tasting notes that you can put on the bag and all that stuff. So they were just doing that this past week. They were just kind of fine tuning, like they were playing with the coffee. When you first get like the beans, right, you roast it like kind of different levels, different amounts, just to see like, all right, how much roast do we want on this one to get like the flavors that we're looking for? So they were playing with that last week, and they finally got it dialed in. And I got in my email this morning from them what the tasting notes are. Let me see. So Nick sent them to me. So the coffee's from Papua New Guinea, which the last coffee we had from Papua New Guinea was delightful. I believe it was last winter. So toffee, chocolate, and graham cracker are the tasting notes. And again, this isn't flavored coffee, so those will just be really subtle tasting notes. Toffee, chocolate, and graham cracker. Toffee with a T. Toffee with a T. Chocolate and graham. That sounds delicious. And if you really care, if you really geek out, this is the varietal of the bean is Arusha Mondonava Typica. And it's fully washed, sun-dried is the process for the coffee. But from Papua New Guinea, the last Papua New Guinea coffee we got was delightful. So that'll be launching as soon as I sell out of the fall light roast, which should be in a couple of days. We will launch that winter light roast from Papua New Guinea. So I'm excited about that. I haven't tried it yet. I don't have any on hand yet. I think the first batch they were roasting is either like the first real batch, I think, is either today or tomorrow of that one. So that's always exciting, the change of seasons and tasting new coffee. It's fun for me, something to geek out about. Thank you for that aside, Frenchie. Appreciate that. Nice sale here. IB Cool. This is a quarter zip, a women's piece right here. It's a pretty good brand, golf brand. IB Cool. And this sold for $28 on a best offer. It's a quarter zip, long sleeve, like golf pullover for women. And how long did it take to sell? It took 41 days to sell, so just over a month on that, $28 on the best offer. This is not exactly like this is like a summertime kind of piece right here. It's very, very lightweight, like moisture wicking piece for golfing. So good to get a sale like this in the middle. Well, I was gonna say the middle of November. It's the first day of December, but this sold, I think, yesterday or the day before. Sold over the weekend. Anyway, it's going to Karen in Oro Valley, Arizona. Probably not winter yet in Oro Valley, Arizona. I don't know. Maybe it is winter. Because there is a high elevation in Arizona too. Like Flagstaff is over 6,000 feet. so it gets real cold and snowy in Flagstaff. All right, next up is an order for Morgan Rock and Roll Cowboy. I just shipped out a pair of jeans from this brand the other day. And now we got a shirt going out. This is a Western Pearl Snap shirt. You can see the brand right there, Rock and Roll Cowboy. It's got some nice stitching details, Western Pearl Snaps. And this went for $19.99 on a best offer. How long did that take to sell? I picked that up in May and it sold in November. So what's that, 6 months to sell? About 6 months to sell. So not the fastest seller, but that's okay. It's out the door. What's the brand that you sell the most? Every year I've been in business, I sell more Polo Ralph Lauren than any other brand. And that is true this year too. And I assume it'll be the same next year as well. Top item was a Hallmark ornament that we picked up for $10 at a church sale, and it sold for $398.97. My goodness, must have been like a rare. I need to hear more about that ornament. You got to tell me more about this, Melody. That's an awesome, awesome sale. Wow. What was the final count in your 90-day challenge? Frenchie, I haven't totaled it up yet. We just got back Saturday night. We were gone Tuesday through Saturday for the holiday, and I'm sort of catching up on shipping and accounting and listing and all that stuff and just on life, but I haven't totaled it up is basically what I'm getting at. But it ended on the 29th. That would have been the 90th day. I think it's close. I just got to total it up. Maybe I'll do it towards the end of this live. Look and total up. It's pretty close. I've already shipped out 2 Levi's today, and there's at least 2 more, maybe 3 more we have to ship out. There's so many sales here on my floor. It's ridiculous. So this one's going out. Did I tell you? Yeah, Rock and Roll Cowboy, $19.99. I paid $5 for it. 1 second. Already filled up this bin once, and the postal lady came, and now we're going to fill it up a second time. And this isn't a flex. We were gone. So this is 6 days worth of sales. So don't get all crazy. And if you're just walking in now, I was really slow for the 5 days. So I had a great month. But then the 5 days before Thanksgiving, so Saturday through Wednesday, we're slow. We're below average, like 6 to 8 sales a day. And I've been averaging 11. So we're going to fill up this here bin a second time. We're almost there. We got a lot of work to do. This is going to be a marathon stream, by the way. If you have questions, drop them. I want to answer those questions. But I'm also going to be working a good bit here because we got a lot to do. I was in Phoenix in March, and Flagstaff got 18 inches of snow overnight. Yeah, I mean, it's over 6,000 feet if I remember correctly. Like, that place can get walloped. That's crazy. 18 inches of snow. That's more snow than we've got cumulatively since Kim and I moved back to Asheville. We haven't got 18 inches of snow in that whole amount of time, like total. I don't even think we've had like more than 2 inches at any given time. Next up is we don't have a shovel even. And it used to snow a little bit more here. When we lived here the last time, we would get significant snow. It just hasn't. Got another pair of Levi's here. Actually, I think I have 4 more Levi's to ship out. So I know I get a lot of people in my comment section whenever I do a video about Levi's. They say, I can't sell Levi's for the life of me. And I think we're going to ship out a total of 6 Levi's just from the last 5 or 6 days. It might be more. I still have a big bag of stuff for Poshmark and stuff too. Anyway, Levi's 501, size 32 by 32. That's why I'm not flexing on people, by the way. That's why we do these live streams. That's why we share a lot of information about our business, because if you do things right, you can also sell Levi's and make money off them. So these sold for $22.99. These are Levi's 501. These are the button flies. This took 1 day to sell. So I listed these on Wednesday. They sold on Thursday. So they sold on Christmas Day. 1 day to sell. Basically overnight these sold. I woke up to the sale on Thanksgiving morning. So Levi's 501 button flies. Y'all, anybody can do this. You just have to have really good photos, really good keywords, promote your items on eBay, cross list to multiple platforms to increase your audience. And of course, use some automation tools so you show up higher in search results. That's a big reason why we're fans of Nifty. We pick up a lot of things to resell that we wouldn't typically pick up if we didn't have an automation tool like Nifty and if we weren't cross-listing with Nifty, because it helps us get extra sales and it allows us to move some of this lower sell-through rate stuff. But it's not just Nifty. It's really good photos. It's really good keywords. But by the way, Nifty helps with the keywords too, because all I do is I use the AI listing tool for Nifty. And so all I do is take the photos. I upload those photos into Nifty. And sorry, I'm like trying to walk and chew gum. I upload those photos into Nifty. Nifty writes the item title, writes the item description. That's what it does. And so it loads it up with keywords, which is awesome. So that helps out a lot. And of course, I take the time to have really good photos. And I use Nifty's background remover tool too. I used to use another background remover tool, but now I just use the one that's built into Nifty, and I do that on my cover photo. So I got a nice, clean, crisp, professional cover photo, which is huge for helping to get sales. So I'm not flexing on people when I say like, hey, they say all the time that they can't sell Levi's, but I do every day, basically. It's not me flexing on them. It's like, hey, y'all, listen, I teach this stuff. I share. There's no secrets. I tell you exactly how I do this and get good, consistent sales with low sell-through rate items like Levi's, and they are a low sell-through rate. So next up is an order for Joel. Where did I put that? Oh, right here, right in front of my face, right where it should be. Saddlebred. I don't pick up much from Saddlebred, but I do pick up these corduroy. So this is the inside. This is the outside, corduroy right there. Love selling these. This sold full asking price, $39.99. It's a men's size 40R corduroy jacket. Love selling these. For these, I use like these bigger, I think it's a 14.5 by 19 shipping bag. I use these for suits, blazers, big heavy winter jackets. There's a shovel laying by the median on 85 just over the Virginia border. Went through there the other day going to grandbabies for Thanksgiving. That's pretty close to Ashboro. There's a shovel laying by the median. What are you trying to tell me, Edward? I hope you had a good trip, by the way. I'm not sure. What's going on with this shovel story, brother? Now I'm intrigued. You got to tell me. Part of the Beauty of the Birds limited edition collection that comes out yearly. This was 2011, bought 15 weekend before Thanksgiving, and I've sold. Oh wow, you bought 15 of that same one, or like part? Oh, okay, probably different ones from that collection. Oh, I see what you're saying. 15 different ornaments. That's awesome. Are other ones worth as much as that one? As that one that you said you sold for 200 something? That's crazy. That's really awesome. I'm happy for you. How long have you been selling? I've been following you for a long time, but don't know your story. I started reselling July of 2018, so about almost 7.5 years ago. And it was just a side hustle. I had a full-time job. I was a career coach. I worked for an ed tech company in downtown Denver, Colorado. And let me just get straight here before I get out of order. This is going to Joel. Okay, got it. So it was just a side hustle for me. I had another business at the time too. So I was a full-time career coach for this company, this ed tech company. And I also had what I call a boutique career coaching business. So I worked with clients privately as well. And so I had those two things going on, and then kind of got inspired by a friend of mine, Jason Hayes, who is actually my colleague, like my closest colleague, the person, like my right-hand person, the person I worked closest with. And her husband is Jason Hayes, who's a full-time reseller. He had just gone full-time at that point. He inspired me. So he showed me the ropes and got me going. And I was like, man, I love this thing. Fast forward like 2 years later, I'm living in Florida. We had moved there during the pandemic, bought a home down there. And I left my career coaching job because I just felt that I was waking up in the morning excited to get stuff listed and get my small business going. And I would do that. Like I would jump out of bed for that. And I found it was getting in the way, like my job was now getting in the way of my business. And I was like, I want more time to do my job. I also was excited to sort of getting away from having a boss and getting away from being a part of an organization that seemed like they were changing their course every few weeks. There was like a new initiative or new direction, and there was new CEOs and new SVPs. It was a small tech company, like startup. So they pivot so quickly. And I was like, I could be done with this and just do my thing and have no more meetings and, no more changing initiatives and all that kind of stuff. So I was also really frustrated by the fact that I worked there for 2 years, and both of my annual reviews, I got 5 stars on everything I could get, the highest reviews, 5 out of 5 on everything. Glowing. They said, we have no feedback for you. Don't change anything. But both times they're like, yeah, and we're not doing raises. We just can't afford to do it. I was like, well, I can't do anything better than I'm already doing. I'm crushing it. My list of responsibilities from when I started was this big to when I left was this long, all the stuff that, I was doing. Every time they asked me to do something more, I said, yes, yeah, I'll do that. I'm happy to do that. They asked me, I've started working in Denver. They asked me to start working with students in Boulder too, because they lost their Boulder person. I was like, yeah, I'll work with students in Boulder. And they're like, hey, now that you're working with students in Denver and Boulder, can you also work with students that are in Arizona and Phoenix? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And then they're like, hey, can you also start working with students that are in San Francisco? I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Like, hey, can you also start working with students who are working in Austin? I was like, geez, this is getting to be a lot, but yeah, I know you'll take care of me in the end. And you just keep saying yes, you keep doing more. And I started doing a lot of employer relations stuff. I was helping them, get some what they called enterprise business, and was working with employers who wanted to hire our students, but also wanted to get involved with our enterprise education stuff, which is where we made the real money. And helped with that, making introductions, being part of those meetings. Again, not on my job description, did it. Crushed it, helped them make more money. But then when it was time for me to ask for them for more money, they couldn't do it. And I didn't just ask for more money when they didn't give me a raise twice. I straight out demanded it, and they wouldn't give it to me. So it's like, that's all right. I'll go make more money by myself. And that's part of the story right there. But I've always had a chip on my shoulder to authority in a lot of different ways. And if I don't feel like I'm being taken care of, I'm going to tell people about it, and I'm going to go take care of myself if they're not going to take care of me. So anyway, that's that story a little bit. I always got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. I think that's a good thing, especially for business owners, entrepreneurs, that sort of thing. Is you gotta pump yourself up, and you gotta embrace being on your own and say you know what, I can prove these people wrong, and I can do better on my own. And that's exactly what I've done. Next up is for Steven. I liked that job too. I might still be there if they actually did take care of me. I would have kept saying yes to more and more responsibilities. And as long as they kept saying yes to taking care of me more and more, especially at that time, our rent jumped in the 2 years I was there, our rent goes up it went up $400 or something like that. The cost of living was skyrocketing back in 2018, 2019, 2020, skyrocketing. And I'm like, so my rent is going up every 6 months, and and my responsibilities are going up every 2 months, but you can't give me more money. I can help you make more money. Yeah. But you can't help me out. They also give me if you want to hear the whole story, they gave me a really, really hard time, and I'll never forget it. They had approved me to go, I was already working remotely because I was already working with students in different time zones in different states. So I was basically 99% remote because I'm working with students in Denver, Boulder, Austin, San Francisco, and Phoenix all at the same time. So it's not like being on a certain campus mattered. So I was full-time remote. And then I said, listen, we're going to buy a home in Florida, and my parents are going to move in with us, and my sister's going to move in with us, and we're going to do all this. Can I get approval to be remote, in work in Florida? And they said, yeah, we already have employees that are remote in Florida, so that's fine. So I got approved for it. We found a house. We got a mortgage, and 2 days before we were closing on the house, was it 2? No, it was the day before we were closing on the house. My boss's boss sort of had reached out and said that I was not going to be approved to do my job in Florida. And I was like, well, we're closing on the house tomorrow. If I go and back out of that, I lose a whole lot of money on the deal. You've already approved me to do this thing. We've made all kinds of arrangements. You know, my parents have put their house in the market, and that has since sold, right? So like, there's a bunch of decisions here that we can't walk back now, that you just can't change, especially since you haven't given me any good reason. I'm working with these students all over the country. I'm fully remote. And now all of a sudden I can't be remote in Florida. I have to be remote and I have to stay in the Denver area. How does that even make any sense? Like, to what benefit of anybody is this going to be? And I had to make a big stink out of it. I got HR involved, and HR met with the leadership and said, like, HR was like, you can't do this. Like, you absolutely, like, we gave him signed approval. Like, they gave me what I needed. They already gave me a document that I needed for the mortgage company to show that I was going to be transferring my job to Florida. The mortgage company wants to know that you have income. So they already did that. But then at the last minute, the mortgage company, before closing, you know how they ask for, like, you know, different, like, they can ask for more things. So they, last minute, they asked for a different document signed by a different person at the organization. I was like, yep, I can get you that. And that's when this, like, senior leader was like, whoa, what's going on? And wouldn't sign that document that I needed and send it over to me. And then so anyway, we had this big meeting, HR intervened, and they're like, you can't do this to this guy. Like, he already has, like, written approval for this from our organization. Because you changed your mind in the past, you know, 30 or 40 days, you can't just, like, you can't do this. Like, you can't do that. So anyway, fight ensues, whatever. And so I'll never forget that. I was like, I can't wait to get established in Florida. And I'm going to put in my notice and get out of there as soon as I possibly can, because I knew that at any moment, a lot of people say, like, when you work for yourself, there's no security. You don't have 401k, like, the job is secure, it's safe. And I was like, man, they could have fired me at any moment. And they showed their willingness to do that. You know, they were like, we're going to screw this kid. I call myself a kid. I was almost 40. So we're going to screw this kid out of this mortgage deal, you know, this house purchase. We're going to screw him and his family over just because we can, for, like, no good reason. Like, that showed me everything I needed to know. There's no such thing as safety and security from an organization. Anyway, I sold this Brooks Brothers shirt. It sold on I lowered the price to $17.98 because this one, for whatever reason, even though it's a nice pattern, it hung around for a little while. Lowered the price a couple weeks ago. It sold for that new full price of $17.98. I had it initially priced at $19.99. I lowered it a couple bucks, and somebody came in and bought it at that full price. So out the door, I paid $5 for it at a thrift store. But to me, there's a lot more security in me making my own thing than there is in somebody else who may or may not change their mind about me, regardless of my performance. Like I said, both years, you know, 5 out of 5 on all the things. You're doing awesome. You're doing great. You're going above and beyond. We love everything you're doing, but we don't have any more money for you. Even though you're doing way more work than what we hired you for. And you always say yes to us, we're going to say no to you. I'm like, got it. So now I just say yes to myself. How did you get into selling coffee? That's a whole story too. You guys just want to get me to talking today. I can talk about that. How do you ship different types of shoes, tennis, and boots? I have some, and I'm not sure how to ship. 2 boxes. This Ground Advantage shoe box is a nice one. Boom. That's a good one for used shoes that aren't in the box. For bigger boots or for items that are in the box, I use this 14 by 10 by 6 box right here. I have all this stuff linked, the exact boxes, all the packages and stuff I use. I have it all linked at this link right here that I'm dropping in the chat. Wait for it. Everything, including these boxes. I buy them from 2 different vendors. I have both of them linked. I prefer to get them from Staples, but I also have these boxes linked for Amazon too. They're a little bit more money on Amazon, but if you're an Amazon person, do that. But I get them from Staples. It's a 14 by 10 by 6 box. It's all linked in that document right there. Next up, this is a Marmot. This is brand new with tags. It was at a thrift store. They had it marked up to $15. I didn't want to pay $15 for it. It's a Marmot vest. I wish it was like a normal price, like $7, but they priced it up to $15. I bought it anyway. It sold on a nifty best offer, $40.49. Excuse me. This is going out to Vicky. So just to wrap up all that stuff, I know it sounded like I was, like, really angry at that company. It was a great job, my last career coaching job. It really was. It was a lot of fun. was an organization that really truly believed in helping people get great jobs after they graduated. It was really cool. I worked with data scientists and I worked with software engineers. Those were the two programs that we had. It was fun. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the tech industry. I learned a lot about data science and software engineering that I never knew anything about before that. Cool job, cool students, cool organization. But when the rubber hit the road, when it really matters, they didn't want to take care of me. They almost turned their back on me, and they really pissed me off. So that wasn't the only reason I left to do my own thing. At that point, I'd already had this side hustle for a couple of years. I had another business, a career coaching business. It was just kind of in me that I always wanted to be. I always saw myself since I was a kid as a business owner. So that was the first time, December of 2020, when I left that job. I put my notice in November, December 2020. I think the 6th was my last day of work. And that was the first time I'd ever been just full-time, like on my own. I'd always had side businesses, and I had the side business for probably 6, maybe 5 years before that. But I had never been like full-time, just on my own. It was a big decision, and I'm grateful for it. It wasn't an easy decision. And the first few months weren't exactly easy as I was trying to grow the business to something that would be a full-time income. But I look back on it fondly, and I appreciate the way that company treated me when the rubber hit the road, because it motivated me to go do my own thing. And sometimes you just need that stuff. Polo Ralph Lauren, men's size large, slim fit. This sold on a best offer, $18.99. Nice pattern on this one. Pony on the chest, a staple of my store. One of my best selling items, if it comes down to it. A button down shirt, blue plaid, Polo Ralph Lauren is like this exact item. I just sell so many of them. Blue plaid. This is going to Sean. Sean's in Braintree, Massachusetts. This is like a $10 profit item right here. 50% of my profits come from items that I make $10 to $19 profit. 50% of my monthly profits come from those lower margin items, $10 to $19 profits. 50% of my profits come from items that sell for $20 profits or more. So I like them, the small ones, just as much as I like the big ones, because at the end of the month, half of my income comes from the small ones, half of it comes from the big ones. So I need both. I don't want to, if I cut off my small ones, I cut off half of my profit per month. And I don't want to cut off half my profit per month. I like the little guys. Put an order, another Ralph Lauren. This one's Ralph Lauren RLX. You already saw me ship one of these out. That one sold for $51 on a best offer. This one sold for $59.99, full asking price. Same exact item, both of them $228 MSRP. But RLX for me has been a kiss of death. This took a while to sell. I finally lowered the price. But man, 3 years ago, this is like a $90 piece on the resale market, maybe $80. But RLX, just like all these golf brands, they rise, they fall, particularly golf brands. And RLX has fallen. Will it come back? Possibly. Possibly. It's still in demand. People still buy it, but there's just so much supply out there now. And a lot of demand is switched over to other golf brands that are hot like right now. There's some police activity at the end of the road here. Got someone pulled over. We got 2 cops. So Kirsten, this is going to Gales Ferry, Connecticut. Out the door on that Polo RLX. Got that one on clearance. Took a couple years to sell. I bought a bunch of those. I had like 8 or 10 of them. Some of them sold quick. Some of them sold slowly. Maybe I'm out of those finally. That would be great. Next up is for Catherine. Catherine's in Minnesota. Pine City, Minnesota. This is an awesome piece. I'm going to show you this on the screen right here. What colors can the shoes equip? I'm not sure what you're asking there, Peter. I'm sorry. I do not think you were mad at the company. I think you were mad at the way you treated me. Bottom line, they gave you incentive. Yep, I agree. And I'm grateful for that, because you need both. You need motivation to go out and be on your own, which I had and I've always had. But then you need like the other thing, like the kick in the butt. And to me, they gave me that kick in the butt. They told me that they weren't loyal to me and they weren't going to be loyal to me. So then I was like, cool, you got to be careful being in bed with people who aren't going to be loyal to you. if you don't trust your employer, to me, that's not a great place to be. Very true. They wait for come to work on Monday just to say I got fired after back from Vietnam trip, and they approved it. Crazy. Yeah. There's not a lot of loyalty. And I know some people might work for great loyal companies, great leaders who are loyal to you. Those things still do exist, but not as much as they used to. The expected loyalty from employee to employer and employer to employee is just different in today's culture than it was 30 or 40 years ago. It's just different, and that's okay. It is one of those things, and it's part of the reason why I'm on my own. I live in Alabama. Nice. Birmingham. Cool. I've been through Birmingham once. There's when I worked for the University of North Carolina at Asheville, I went. I was like I don't know, what do you call it? The chaperone or the adult, the staff member on a trip. It was a, what do you call it? It was a alternative spring break. That's the word, alternative spring break trip. And I went with a group of, I think 11 students. We went down to Birmingham, Alabama to a teaching farm. It's like right there in the downtown. I forget it's called Jones Valley. I just remembered it. Jones Valley Urban Farm, I think is what it's called. And we went there to their farm and like helped them do stuff on their farm. Really cool experience. And did I do that twice? No, I did that one once. I also did another alternative spring break. I take that back. I was at App State as a grad student when I did that. I was the adult on the trip for a bunch of undergrads when I went to Jones Valley. I also did some of those alternative spring break trips with students when I worked at UNC Asheville too. But that was probably 2013 maybe. It's a fun trip. Some really great students on that trip too. The people at that farm were really cool. Oh, I told you I was going to show you this. Let me show you the picture of this. We're talking about so many different things. But I thought Birmingham was pretty rad. I had it on my list of like, I want to get back to this place and spend a little bit more time and explore the city more. Let me share the screen here. Check this out, y'all. Merino wool cardigan with the metal buttons. Look at those metal buttons. Look at that pattern. Freaking really, really cool piece. I've sold 2 of these recently. One was more red in color. This one's like more blue in color, but same thing with like the metal buttons, the wool, just a beautiful piece. This sold for best offer, $39.99. It didn't take long to sell. Wait for it. It took 3 days to sell, $39.99. Really, really cool piece. I think this was a $5 piece. I'm trying to remember where I picked it up. I might have paid, actually, I think I paid $10 for this and it sold for 40, but really cool sale. I'm really excited about it. Just got out of deer stand, almost missed the show. Nice. How did it go? Successful stand, I guess. Do you sell cookies? No. No, I don't. I get some interesting questions sometimes. You deserve a well-earned pat on the back. Hey, thanks, Peter. Hello, young man. Well, thank you, Peter. Costanza, sorry, I missed you coming in. Hope you're well. What did I miss here? How do you ship different types of shoes? I think we covered that. I said you don't even have a snow shovel a moment ago. No, I do not. I do not. We just don't get really snow here that much anymore. Haven't needed it since we've got back. The only type of snow that we've got is like a dusting or an inch or so, and then the sun comes out the next day and it just sort of takes care of itself. Next up is Catherine. So this is going to Catherine, Pine City, Minnesota. This is one of those like pieces you ship out and you're like, I know this person is going to open this package and just be like delighted. They're just going to be so happy to have this piece. Really, really cool LL Bean piece. If I think it's cool, the type of person that buys this, like I think they're just going to be overwhelmed with joy when they get a piece like this. Didn't see anything today. I got all week. When did the season open and when does it close? All right. So really nice sale there. Again, it's like a staple brand. It's LL Bean. That was kind of an uncommon LL Bean, but LL Bean is something that you can find at thrift stores all over the country for cheap typically. Very common find. Another one, Tommy Bahama. Find these a lot. This actually sold quicker than I thought, especially this time of year. This took 1 day to sell, so it sold overnight. Really good pattern though, and that's the thing. Like Tommy Bahama, I'm looking for a really bold floral pattern like this. Awesome colors, and I'm also looking for silk. Also linen or silk is what I'm looking for. So that tends to be the best seller. So this sold on a nifty best offer again overnight, $25.20. So the buyer watched the item on eBay. Nifty waited 10 minutes, saw that they didn't buy the item full price, so sent that 10% off offer to try to close the deal. Boom, it closed the deal, $25.20. And this did literally sold overnight. I woke up to this sale. So gotta love that. Gotta love that automation. Gotta love it. And the big thing about this is like a lot of people say, like, I had somebody arguing with me that like whatever, who cares about the automation of it sending automatic offers? They're like, it takes 2 seconds to send an offer. So great, Nifty saves you 2 seconds. It's like, well, first of all, hold on a second. First of all, wait for it. So far today, Nifty has sent 19 offers for me, and on eBay, 1 on Mercari, and 6 on Poshmark. So it's already sent a total of 26 offers already, just this morning or early afternoon, I guess. So it's doing that for me, but it's the saving of time that's helpful, but I think what's more helpful is the timing of the offer, right? It sends it 10 minutes after somebody watched the item. So what that person is doing after that, they looked at your item, they hit the watch button, whatever. They could be shopping on eBay for other items. They could be shopping on Poshmark for other items that are similar. And because Nifty sent that offer pretty quickly, they could be going to Amazon. They could be shopping all sorts of places, right? But because Nifty sends that offer in a timely manner like that, before that person buys something else or just loses interest, the offer gets to them quick. And I think that makes a big difference in getting these sales. Don't let them off the hook. Don't let them go buy from somebody else. Don't let them put in an offer on another person's item. Get it done and get it sold. So although, yes, it's a time saver, and someone's like, whatever, it's saving you 2 seconds. It's like, yeah, but it's more than that. It's the timing of that offer, which, like I said, that last item that Tommy Bahama sold overnight. It's not like at 4:30 in the morning, I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to check and see if I have any items that have watchers that I can send offers on. It's the fact that that's just happening all the time. In closing deals when I'm not even paying attention, whether I'm sleeping, whether I'm driving, whether I'm at the thrift store, whether I'm hiking, like that stuff can happen. And so it's not just about the time savings, it's about the utility of the timing of it, the way it happens in closing deals. So I know some people don't like automation tools, and they don't like me talking about Nifty and whatever. They don't like that I have an affiliate link, that they think I'm just selling the program. I don't like the program. I don't use it for my business. I'm just talking about it because I sell it. How do I not talk about it? It literally sold that item for me so I'm shipping these orders out. How can I not tell the story? It's a secret weapon, a not so secret weapon for our business. And we love it. I used it for a full 7 months before I mentioned it to anybody on social media, because I was testing the product. It was new. And I was also, there was a few features that I knew that they were adding and they were fine tuning. And until they got those features dialed in, I wasn't comfortable promoting it and talking about it, because it wasn't, I'm like, I need those features. And finally, once I got those features dialed in and I was comfortable with it, one of them was the multi-quantity, because I sell a lot of multi-quantity things that needed to manage multi-quantity listings. So as they built that and fine-tuned that, and that was one of the features that I was waiting for before I was comfortable promoting it. So when people accuse me of just like, the only reason you're mentioning Nifty is because you make money through the thing, and I'm like, no, it's both things can be true. I can love Nifty and it can be great for my business. That can be true. And it can also be true that I make a little bit of money if somebody signs up through my link. But remember, they have to sign up and they have to pay for it. And if they sign up for it, pay for it, and it sucks and it's not a good fit for the customer, they drop it and I don't make any money, right? So that's why I'm really careful about describing it and telling people who should consider it and who shouldn't consider it and all that stuff too. But both things can be true. I can love a product and use it every freaking day, and isn't it a great win-win that I can make a few bucks by talking about it too? I think that's an awesome thing. But I don't know why other people wouldn't like that. I get it. There's a lot of shysters on the internet, And I get that. And people could say like, well, you're just a shyster, just like all these other ones. Yeah, sure. If you don't trust me, whatever. I can't get you to trust me. But I guess what I mean, geez, who else? I'm going through and showing you every single thing that I sold over the last 5 days, telling you exactly how much I paid for, how long it took to sell, how much it sold for, how I'm packing it. I think but if that's not enough to get you to trust me, that's fine. I mean, I don't care. It's weird that people take issue with that. If you think I'm a shyster, then why are you following me anyway? I don't even get, like, what's the logic there? Like, why do you follow shysters if you don't trust me, if you think that's who I am? Do you possess muscle memory? I don't know. I'm not sure what you're asking, Peter. I think that I'm not sure what you're asking, Peter. You have to factor in how that kid can wear on a seller when you're only getting a few offers accepted, and if it's just being done in a background without you knowing, that's much better offers. You have to. What did I miss? Okay. I think I missed your first one. This is probably going to make more sense when I go with this one first. People with that negative mindset seem to forget you have to stop what you're doing and then send offers on those platforms. My number is, for instance, I believe I'm between 5 and 10% accepted. That's interesting. I like that stat. Thank you for sharing. I'll have to look at mine. You have to factor in how that kid can wear on a seller when you're only getting a few offers accepted and it's just being done in the background without you knowing. That's much better. Got it. I see what you mean. Like, yeah, all these offers, like I've had 27 offers sent by Nifty today. Maybe 2 of them have been accepted or something like that. I'd have to look, but yeah, I guess if you were manually doing it, you'd be frustrating. Like, why am I sending all these offers and nobody's accepting it? That's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that. Nice sale right here. This is a Jack Victor sport coat. You can see it's got that nice like herringbone pattern right there. And this is like the inside liner right here. Where's the logo? I guess you won't be able to see it, but this is 100% wool Jack Victor. Not the best sell-through rate brand, but I picked this one up because of that nice pattern on it. Men's size 42R. This sold for full asking price, $44.99. I paid $7 for it at the thrift store, and it took 22 days to sell this blazer. Not all blazers sell fast, but if you really pay attention to like materials, pattern, what's in style, then there you go. Especially like what's in style, and that's like a good in style pattern right now too. So 22 days on this, $7, paid $44.99 plus $9.95 shipping is what the buyer paid for this. So nice profit item right there. I'm going to tell you exactly what the profit is. I'll look at the order details here. So the order details after fees and the $8.85 shipping label, that's going to leave me with $33.16. That's what eBay is paying me. And I paid $7. So this is going to be a $26 profit item. So I mentioned that 50% of my monthly profits come from bigger profit sales. And I define those as items that make me $20 in profit or more. 50% of my monthly earnings come from those. The other 50% come from items that I sell for a profit of $10 to $19. So, but of those 50% that are over $20, a lot of them are blazers. A lot of them are suits. I get blazers for $7 or sport coats. I know people get mad at me because they call sport coats blazers or whatever, but sport coats, $7 I pay for them, and they typically sell for 35 plus. Some of them a lot more than that. The cops are leaving, so I guess they're done with that person. But yeah, blazers are a big part of my $20 plus profit gain. Blazers and suits. I pay $10 for suits, and suits are typically selling for like $50 plus. So really good margin items. Of course, winter jackets are part of that $20 plus usually too. We had a few of those today. But most of the time, jeans and shirts, they're making me like $10 to $19 each. That's half of my profits at the end of the month because I sell more of them. About 65% of my sales result in 10 to 19%. Like when I say that, 65% of the units sold make me $10 to $19 a piece, and that ends up being about half of my profit every single month. Do you sell the best brisket in Texas? Are you just like, is this like an I love lamp? Is that what's going on over there? My friend, he is selling clothes and have $4,500, 45 items on eBay, and he did use Nifty. Nice. I like to hear that. Just opened today, closes next week. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. That one's going out to Michael. Michael is in, hey, let's go to Denver, Colorado. I actually know that address. I'm not going to say it on here, but I actually know right where that apartment building is. I know that address. That's kind of cool. Next up is for Elena. I don't buy and sell a lot of kids stuff. I found this just this past week at a thrift store, and it's a Land's End Kids. I just noticed it, like this big purple puffer jacket, and it's a long like parka. So I looked, at first I thought it was a women's jacket, but it is a girl's size medium, and the tag says Land's End Kids. At a thrift store, I was like, well, I'm not going to look this up, but I think it was $3.50. And I was like, well, it's got to be worth at least $20, right? Because I sell these Land's End puffer jackets like this for women. You know, they sell for like $40 or $50. I'm like, I bet you this thing's probably worth at least $20. Well, it sold on a nifty best offer, $33.30, and it only didn't take long. It took 3 days to sell. So that's a pretty good grab. I didn't look it up. I was just like, it's Goose Down. It's Land's End. It's at least $20. I'm going to grab it for $3.50. And ended up being a great sale, $33.30. There were comps, anywhere from 25 to 40. So I priced mine, I think it was like $38.99 or something like that. And got that 10% off nifty offer. So this is going to Elena and going to Brooklyn, New York. Nice little kid's jacket here. And actually the story behind this too is that same day, earlier in the same day, somebody bought this jacket for $33.30. It was on a nifty best offer. And then a couple hours later, they came back and put in a cancellation request. They said their granddaughter changed their mind on what color they wanted or something. So I approved the request. I relisted it for free. And then like 2 hours later, it sold again for $33.40. We were driving, that was on Saturday. We were driving back in the car, and I was kind of like, I'm looking at it. I was like, did that just sell again, or is that the old sale that I thought I already refunded that one? Like I thought I canceled it. But I was like, nope, this is a new sale. It just came in a minute ago. So that was kind of cool. Nice surprise. Everything is linked. Fedra, everything is linked at chris@peak.com, or if you go to my profile, everything is linked. You can find all that stuff. Welcome in, everybody. We are in the home stretch eBay. I still have so many orders to ship out. It's crazy. I still have on eBay 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more eBay. And I have all the Posh orders to do. I have a couple Mercari orders to do. I have a couple Amazon orders to do. I got some coffee orders to ship out to. Got a lot of work to do. It's like a marathon live. It's a whole lot of me flapping my gums and a whole lot of tape and stuff going on here. Some good sales coming too. A lot of, actually, of those 11 eBay sales that are left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are jeans and pants. 8 of them are jeans and pants, including 3 more pairs of Levi's that I see. 1, 2, 3. There's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. This is 5 days of 6 days of shipping. We were gone for the holiday, so just catching up. And I was like, maybe I'll ship some of these live and some of them not live, and that'll be faster. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to marathon this. I'm going to marathon it. So we're marathoning it. That's what we're doing. Next up on eBay, this is going to JW. This is a great little super find that a lot of people probably pass right by. It's a pair of Wrangler jeans, but these are the Wrangler Retro. It says it on the inside. You won't be able to see it. I always pick up the Wrangler Retros. These ones are slim straight leg, but you'll find them in slim boot cut, or you'll find them in boot cut, or I think there's a relaxed boot cut too. But the Wrangler Retros are worth your time picking these up. I sold this full asking price, $29.99. You'll find comps ranging like 25 to like 33 on these. So $29.99 on these Wranglers. Good little sleeper pickup for you. I paid $5 at the thrift store. These took 5 days to sell. So how about that? If you can find something, it's a sleeper pickup for $5 that you can sell in 5 days for 30. I mean, that is, to me, that is like quintessential eBay business right there. Like, I love this stuff. Nothing gets me more excited than something like this. Like, Wrangler's not a great selling brand in general, but if you find the gems from it, that's my favorite thing. Is like find the brands that are like not the best brands, You know, you pass most of it, but find those little gems from the brand that sell quick and for good money. That's awesome. So after shipping and fees, I'm going to be left with $21.08 is what eBay is going to give me for this. And I paid $5. So my profit's $16.08. And again, 5 days. So this is profit before I've even paid for it. I'll pay for the credit card bill for this on, since I just picked this up, January 15th is when I'll technically pay for this on my credit card. That's when that statement will be due. And I already got the profit. Freaking love that. How can you not love that? From a brand, I bet you other resellers just walked right past these Wrangler jeans thinking that they were like the typical like $17, $16, $15 Wrangler jeans, but they are $30 Wrangler jeans. Wrangler Retro, baby. Those ones get me excited. Those ones get me excited. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're learning something. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm here for your questions. I love hearing about your business. I love hearing what's going on. If you have a question, but you're like, I don't want to ask that, it might sound like a stupid question. It's probably not a stupid question. And there's probably 5 other people in the chat who are saying the same thing. Like, well, I got a question, but I'm not sure if I should ask it. Just ask it. I'm here for it. We do this live every Monday, typically 11 a.m. Eastern time. I ship out everything from the weekend and tell you all about it and answer your questions. But right now we're shipping out orders from 6 days from the whole Thanksgiving holiday. Next up, Orvis, bread and butter piece right here. Sometimes these ones will sit around inexplicably. Sometimes they sell really fast. This is just a plain 100% cotton button-down long sleeve shirt. Nice plaid pattern. It sat around for a little bit. I lowered the price by a couple of bucks. Somebody came and watched this item. Then Nifty sent a 10% off best offer. So $16.19. I paid $5 for it. Not great profit there, but I buy a lot of these Orvis because I find them a lot. Some of them sell quick. Some of them sell kind of medium quick. And then some of them just take a little while longer. I lower the price. I get rid of them and I move on. Orvis is a low STR or low sell-through rate brand. That's okay. Some of them sell well. Some of them don't. That's okay. We like it. I'm moving the chain. This one was a men's size large. Men's size large. And it took a total of, it took a year to sell. It actually took 13 months to sell. So that's why I lowered the price and got it gone. I typically price these are either like $19.99 or like $20.99, like in that range, and accept offers. Usually I accept offers of like 18 or above, but this one I had to lower the price because it sat. Nifty sent that best offer and we got it gone. Got to move the stuff. Next up is a pair of AG jeans. These are men's The Protege. I can finally walk around in my office now that we got a lot of these sales out. So AG. And again, the model here is The Protege. Whenever I comp jeans when I'm in the thrift store, whenever I'm looking up recent sales, I look at not just like Adriano Goldschmied. I don't look up just the brand of jeans. I look up the model and the size too. So this is the Protege and the size is 32 by 32. You can find some giant differences in sell-through rates and average sale price just by like looking at different fits or different models and even different sizes. Sometimes you can find really good sell-through rates. So do your homework. Don't just look up the brand. Look up the model and the size too. This one sold for best offer, $28. These are going to Miami, Florida. Got a lot of jeans and pants going out the door. Do you have set shipping or do you weigh items? So these are eBay sales. So everything's got to ship out by weight and dimensions. So this for jeans and sweaters, I priced at $8.95 shipping, and the shipping label cost me $7.67. Next up is a Polo Ralph Lauren. This sold on a best offer, $18.99. I just picked this up, I think. This is called the Featherweight Twill. You can see that right there. Men's size large Polo Ralph Lauren, modern tag, and this one sold in 6 days. So just a solid green with the pony on the chest right there. $18.99, 6 days. I paid $5 at the thrift store. Nice quick flip. Get it in, get it out, get my profit before I paid the credit card bill. Again, this credit card bill I'll pay January the 16th, but I'll already have the profit. I have my eBay payout set up to do it once a week. So technically I'll get the profit. It's Tuesdays is when it comes in. So tomorrow I'll have the profit from this item. And it's going to Emil. Thank you, Emil. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Say hello down below in the chat if you haven't already. Like hearing from you. We've filled up this bin for the second time now, and it's actually overflowing. I'm going to have to find another solution here. See if I have another bin that's available. I know what I'll do. I'll use this bag. So this is all Mercari and Poshmark orders that we still have to ship out too. I'm going to start putting some of these shipped ones, these bag ones in here. My postal employee already came and picked up the packages. So these ones I'm going to have to lug to the post office. I also have a couple that are going to have to go to UPS. All right, next up is an order for Deborah, another eBay sale. Deborah got a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren. You're not really going to be able to see this one. I'll show it to you on the screen, actually. It's pretty cool. Just because it's all wrapped up, but boom on the screen right here. Pretty cool piece, right? Little quarter zip fleece on an older tag. You can see that older Polo Ralph Lauren tag, pony on the chest. So this one sold on a best offer of $30. So $30 on this one. How long was it listed for? I had that long. I got that March the 25th, and it sold November the 30th, 250 days. I would have thought that sold quicker, but orange color, it's a fleece. I picked it up at the, last week of March is kind of like your past fleece jacket season. You'll get lucky if you get the sale then. You kind of know that item's probably going to sit until the fall. But that was a cool one. I'm surprised that took that long, 250 days. But then again, I sold that Polo Ralph Lauren. That green plain shirt took 5 days to sell. So sometimes you don't know. I thought this was the cooler piece, but sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes you don't know. This is going to Deborah. Deborah's in Milford, Connecticut. What's up, Jessica? What's up, Teresa? How are you? Appreciate y'all saying hi. Fedra's in the chat. Thank you, thank you. If you haven't hit that like button, that helps out too. Just tells Facebook or YouTube or Instagram that you're having a good time, and it invites more people into the conversation, which I think the more the merrier. So if you haven't hit that like button, that's great. If you haven't followed or subscribed, we'd love to have you on board. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Come back for more. We do this every Monday. This is going to be a long one. They're not usually going to be this long. Next up is Levi's $5.59. That's what she said. 38 by 30 on this one. $5.59. These sold on a best offer, $19.99. These are going to Gatesville, Texas. Thank you for your order, Michael. A lot of Levi's in the last few days. I wonder if I did hit that 90. It's going to be close. We'll count it all up here. Michael. We still have Poshmark. We still got Mercari. We still got Amazon. We still got ChrisAtPeak.com. It is a marathon. We're at least a 10K. No, we've already been live for an hour 40 minutes. That's longer than a 10K. This is a marathon. It is a legit marathon. All right, next up is for Kevin. Kevin got a pair of Fabletics. Man, people got mad when I picked up 3 pairs of these at the thrift store. I did a video on it, and man, the people in the chat got so mad that I said I picked up Fabletics because they said that's not going to sell. But What they didn't probably know is I had already looked up the size. This is size 42 by 34. I realized that I was the only one on the market with the Fabletics, the Dawn 5-pocket pant in that size. So I bought 3 of them. 2 of them were used. 1 of them is new. They're all sold now. This is the last one to sell. This one sold on a nifty best offer, $29.70. So people got all sorts of upset. Like, what are you doing buying Fabletics to resell? I'm like, I don't know. The comps support it. I'm going to be the only one on the market. I can basically set the price. And I did. And all of them sold for, I think, at least $29. The new one sold for a little bit more. So I paid $15 total, and my total revenue from this is probably close to $100. That's pretty awesome, right? But all these people were telling me like how dumb I was for picking up Fabletics. I don't know. I just go by the data, and when we got the results we wanted, we got sales. So made great profit on these. Oh, 1 second, you know. All right, where are we at? Just sold 2 pairs of Thursday boots. Were those the ones you told me about, Jessica? Is that you that told me about the Thursday boots? 2 pairs of LL Bean boots and 5 pairs other brand shoes and boots this weekend. Boots Bonanza. I like the sounds of that. Did you pick up Do you pick up solid color Canali blazers? I just bought 2 of them, both black, $10 each, but sell-through rate not the best. Yeah, probably for $10. I mean, you can price it. Doesn't matter what sell-through rate is if you can still make your margin and be the lowest one or close to the bottom of the market, right? So I know people get really. I'm glad that you're looking at sell-through rate. That's awesome. But some people, not you, get hung up on sell-through rate sometimes. I mean, if you can price that Canali blazer at like $45 and be low in the market, you might be the first one to sell. So even though it's a low sell-through rate item on the market, your sell-through rate can be really, really good because you can price it aggressively. So, yeah, I mean, I think for $10 to grab Canali blazers, you'll probably do pretty good on those. Like, keep me posted, let me know. But yeah, use sell-through rate as a guide. Don't let sell-through rate be your boss. Because some people kind of like with these Fabletics pants that I'm talking about here, like, yeah, the overall sell-through rate wasn't great, but since I'm the only one in the market with that model and that size, you know, that it's like an infinity sell-through rate, right? You can name your price basically to an extent. You know, you obviously, they're Fabletics. I can't like charge $60 for them, but I can get top of the market for them because nobody else has that one available in that size. So I think what you're talking about is a great example of using sell-through rate as a guide and not as like, it's not your boss, right? As long as there's still margin to be made and you can be at the bottom of the market or close to the bottom of the market. Especially like with suits and blazers, so important to have really good photos and really good listings and measurements and all that stuff, really professional. Think about when you go and buy, think about the difference between when you go to like a store that sells suits and blazers, like menswear, formal wear, that kind of thing, and compare that to just going to like a regular clothing store. Like there's a higher level of professionalism from those people. They're dressed up nice. The store is very clean. The salespeople are more well-trained. I think the same thing applies for suits and blazers on the internet. Though a lot of people who are selling them have, mannequins, really good photos, really good measurements, just good descriptions, all the information you need to make a good purchasing decision. I think that, that's the way the competition is for suits and blazers on the internet. It's a little bit, I think the game of suit sellers is just a little bit higher. And that's who you're competing with. So I don't know what your game is, Matt. You might have, or Matthew, I think you have probably a great game, right? But this is we're talking to everybody here. If you're going to sell suits and blazers, you got to think about like, how do you elevate your game, look at your competition and say, am I doing things as good as or better than my competition? That can be part of it too. So you can sell, other people can have an item listed, but if it's not really a good listing, good photos, measurements, and all that stuff, then you can still sell an item quicker than they can and for more money oftentimes too. So next up is, and this is a great example, I sell Levi's all day and all night, and other people tell me they can't. And I say, look, you follow these 9 steps, you'll be able to sell things like LL Bean, like Levi's, like Polo Ralph Lauren, like Orvis, if you follow the 9 steps. And one of those is, of course, really great photos. Next up is Levi's 541. This is an interesting pair. It's like a solid gray. It's like a matte kind of gray color, like almost like a twill pair of jeans. And I actually did use the word twill denim in the item title. But these are 541 athletic fit with a little black logo right there. Sold for a full asking price, $22.99. I actually like these athletic fit personally. So these sold in, I think that was quick. Yeah, 7 days. Sold in a week. There you have it. All day, all night, people scream in my comment section, Levi's don't sell. I can't give away Levi's. Well, this one sold in 7 days, and I got full asking price, $22.99. I paid $5 at the thrift store. These are going to Steven. Steven's in Houston, Texas. I'm not flexing on people. I'm just saying that's why we do this stuff. That's why we teach. That's why we show. You got to up your game. Remember, you're competing in a marketplace with a lot of other people that are selling the same items as you. Just like if you open, I always think, I grew up in the restaurant business. That's how I learned business. That's the lens with which I learned business. But if you open a restaurant on the same street as 10 other restaurants, you can't just expect to get the same results as them. You have to do something or some things better than them to get their customers on the same street. You know, your food actually has to be better quality. Your pricing has to be better than them. You have to have better service. You have to have a better parking lot, a better atmosphere. You have to be able to do better than the places that already exist if you're going to move in and expect to get a piece of the business, if you're going to beat out your competition. And the same thing is true if you're selling Levi's, Polo, Ralph Lauren, LL Bean, anything on the internet. If you're selling clothing on the internet, you have direct competition for the same exact thing on the same exact website. So just because you acquired the right items doesn't mean that they're automatically going to sell for you. You could have people who are eating your lunch, who are just doing a better job at selling than you are. So you have to get good at acquiring good in-demand items that will sell online. That's one thing. You have to get good at creating listings and selling those items. That's a separate skill. And then you also have to build efficient systems so that you can be efficient and quick at selling and buying, right? So those are the three skills. It's get good at buying, get good at selling, and then build efficient systems so that you can do a lot more of both of those things. And you got to be good at all three. And that's what makes somebody, a professional reseller that can be really successful. But half-assed listings, it's probably not going to get you where you want to go. This right here, good sale here, Todd Snyder. So these took 80 days to sell. Todd Snyder is a designer. These are really expensive brand new jeans, right? A lot more than Levi's. They still took 80 days to sell, which kind of surprises me actually. $34.99. The funny thing is a lot of people would buy these Todd Snyders because it's a good sell-through rate item and like a bigger brand, it's going to sell for more money than Levi's, but they'll pass on all these Levi's. And I'm like, well, geez, since I picked up these Todd Snyder Levi's 80 days ago, I've probably sold about 80 pairs of Levi's. So which would I would rather have? One pair of Todd Snyders or 80 pairs of Levi's? I'm taking 80 pairs of Levi's. It's not even close. I mean, even if I just averaged $11 a pair on Levi's, that's what, $810. Is that math right? I've been live for a long time. My brain's mush. Where's my mouse? 810, 80 pairs of Levi's if I made $11 in profit. 880. My math is bad. $880. I'd rather take that, but whatever, these pants, I'm happy with it. I'm not mad. I'll pick up the Todd Snyders every time. Don't get me wrong. I made more profit on this one item, but my profit on this after fees and shipping is going to be $21.73. So made $21.73 off one pair, but off the 80 that I've sold of 80 Levi's I've sold since I picked these up, I've made $880 probably. So that's why I love the little guys too, because the little guys add up. If I just look for Todd Snyder, geez, I found 2 Todd Snyder items, I think, all year long, maybe 3. So if I'm just picking up the high-end stuff, I need a bigger bag. I thought I could fit it in a small one. If I just picked up the high-end stuff, you just don't run into it enough. But you all do your everybody has a different model. My model is a lot of mid sell-through rate and low sell-through rate stuff on top of the higher sell-through rate stuff and the higher margin stuff too. I like the combination of both, but for me, I can just buy Levi's all day long and sell Levi's all day long and ship them. We still got more Levi's to ship. So that's out the door, $21 in profit on that Todd Snyder. Good brand to look for. I love finding Todd Snyder. It's just a rare find. Just a rare find. I think Surf's Lives this morning was over 2.5 hours. Can you beat that? Oh, 100%. We're already at 2, and I still have 2 more eBay sales, and I have a whole bunch more Poshmark. In fairness, I don't know how many days he was doing shipping. I'm doing shipping for 6 days. So, and I got Amazon orders, and I got Chris@peak.com orders and all that stuff. We'll do Chris@peak.com orders after this, get some coffee out the door. Then we'll do Poshmark. Then we'll do Mercari. Then we'll do Amazon. You get the idea. I appreciate y'all being here. It is so much more fun having y'all here than just me talking to the wall here. I think Kim would judge me if I did that all day. Maybe not. She's probably used to it. Next up, Brooks Brothers, brand new with tags. I picked these up retail clearance, and they sold for $40. I've actually already sold these once, and then they got returned because they didn't fit. Now they sold again. So $40 plus $8.95 shipping on eBay. I don't remember how much I paid for these. My guess is, I'm guessing I don't think I would have paid more than $20 for these. I don't know. I just don't remember how much I paid for them. Anyway, these sold to Donald. Donald's in Middletown, Connecticut. Thank you, Donald. And we got one more eBay after this, and then but we're like maybe we're 2/3 done is my guess. I think there's over 60 total orders going out the door. So the way my sales went over the past week, starting last Saturday, like the before Thanksgiving Saturday, slow, like below average, like 8 sales, 6 sales, 7 sales, 6 sales. So 5 days in a row of below average sales for me. And then as soon as Thanksgiving hit, it went right to above average sales for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I hope that streak continues. But I looked back last year, and the same thing was true. Because after a couple of like really slow days before Thanksgiving, after being busy all month, I was like, man, what's going on? So I looked at last year, same thing, 5 days directly before Thanksgiving, immediately before Thanksgiving. Those 5 days were slow. And then immediately things picked up right on Thanksgiving Day. So same thing happened this year. Kind of interesting how that works out. The longer you're on, the more ironing I get done to get ready to, man, you iron your stuff. Woo, man. You know, I don't own an iron. I don't think we own an iron. If we do, I don't know where it is. It might still be in a box from the last time we moved. I don't think we honestly have an iron. I can't imagine that. But everyone does their thing a little bit different. But my goodness, ironing all your stuff to list, faith. Ooh, my blood pressure just went up thinking about it. I sold these Levi's. Full asking price, $21.99. These are 511 slim, 33 by 30 on these. 511 slim, 33 by 30. 511s have been selling well for me. These are going to clear across the country. We're going to Spokane, Washington on these. Going to Frank. This is our last eBay order, but boy, we got a lot more orders coming. We got Poshmark, we got Mercari, we got Amazon. Okay. So that's out the door. I paid $5 for these at the thrift store. Levi's 511s. How long did they take to sell? I'm trying to be good about this today. Not everything sells fast. Oh, I didn't mark them as sold yet. These came in while I was pulling orders this morning, so I haven't marked these as sold in my spreadsheet yet. So let's do that right quick. These took a month and a half to sell, 46 days, sorry. 46 days. They sold faster than the Todd Snyders. And those Levi's count as my first sale for December. How about that? What did I say? $21.99? It is. And the buyer paid $8.95 in shipping. So they're all in for like $31. So after shipping and fees and all that stuff, the shipping label is a lot on these ones. So I'm going to make only $9 on these because I'm shipping these to Spokane, and the shipping label is $9.74. So I basically lost almost $1 on shipping, 80 cents on shipping. But typically my average on these is more like $11 or $12 profit. But these ones are going to be $9 just because of where they're going. All that stuff to me just comes out in the wash. That's why I do the flat rate shipping. If you do enough volume, it's sort of, you make $1, you lose $1. I make $1 more than I lose $1 on shipping. So it all works out. And sometimes you make a couple bucks on like heavier items. Okay, that's 40 eBay orders out the door. Now we got to pivot to all the other stuff. What do we got? Friends with us. What is going on here? Let's see. Good to do some house cleaning. All right, just had to do some house cleaning. Cool. Just needed to show some people the door, that's all. All right, let's ship some orders from chris@peak.com here. We got 4 coffee orders that came in over the weekend. So our first order is for Christopher. All right, what do we got, Christopher? So he's got 2 bags of the Black Mountain Dark Roast. Sweet. This is actually what I've been drinking this morning. So this is our Black Mountain Dark Roast. Chris@Peak Coffee going out the door right here. 2 bags of whole bean going out to Christopher. This is his second order. So welcome back, Christopher. Good to have you back. That's our favorite kind of customer. Somebody who liked it and came back for more. So these are going up to James City, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate that. So we have 3 different coffees, and actually we sold all our coffees. So I'll get a chance to show you each of our roasts. But this is our dark roast. I know what some of you are saying about dark roast. You're saying, "Oh, the dark roast is so bitter. It's so roasty." Our dark roast is a little bit different than maybe some other dark roasts that you've had in your life. It's a blend of 3 beans from Honduras. It is a fair trade and organic coffee. And the way this is roasted, it's going to have tasting notes. It's going to be a little bit creamy. It's going to have a little bit of dark chocolate notes to it. And just a hint of jammy fruit, especially as like your cup cools down. You'll get like just a hint. And again, this is not flavored coffee. So this won't be, it's not like strong flavors. I mean notes, hints of that dark chocolate, hints of creamy, and it's got a really creamy body, which is just really nice. It is a very balanced cup of dark roast. It's not like a lot of dark roast, which are just all one note, like dark. Roasty. It's not like that. Very balanced cup of coffee from this dark roast. And some of you might have been following us when we first launched the dark roast. It was our 3rd coffee to launch. And we actually went up to our friends who roast the coffee for us. We went up to Dynamite Roasting, and they lined up 5 different blends. We had talked about it in advance that we wanted to launch a dark roast. So they put together 5 different blends for us that they thought that we would like based on our conversation. And Kim and I went and tasted these 5, and it's called cupping, the way that you do this tasting. And you taste the coffee at 3 different temperatures. You taste it at hot, you taste it at warm, and you taste it at cool, because the flavors are going to be different at those 3 temperatures. So we did that with these 5 different coffees. We had 2 favorites, and then Kim and I narrowed it down to this one, and it was a blind tasting or a blind cupping. We didn't know like which each one of those blends were, but we settled on this one, which is our favorite. and it is a blend of 3 beans from Honduras, and it is just such like, it's a dark roast, but it is just smooth, mellow, and it's got that nice like dark chocolate hints to it. Anyway, love this coffee. Kim and I drink this. We drink our medium roast basically every day, and then we switch, like kind of like on when it's colder out, we tend to drink more of the dark roast, right? Like cold mornings, just feels right to have a dark roast. We do it a lot in our cold brew. It just makes a great cold brew. On the occasion that we'll make like a stovetop espresso, we'll use this too. Just delicious, delicious coffee. We'll do it on the weekends a lot, you know, just kind of like a fuller bodied, you know, it's like a treat kind of coffee. But every day we usually drink our medium roast. But we go through like little spells. And that's what's fun about having your own little coffee business, is that you can you have a variety of different coffees at home all the time. So that's our dark roast right there. We launched that in, let's see, that would have been in 2023. We launched it right around this time. We actually launched it in November of 2023. It's been a good seller for us, and we really enjoy drinking it. So that's going out to Christopher. Thank you for coming back for some more coffee. We love repeat business because that means you liked it if you're coming back for more. So that's really cool. Got to do some house cleaning. Sorry, y'all, for people who are like jumping in, and if people are dropping like links or encouraging you to go to other websites, these are not people that I know, and I do not what's the word? I do not condone, or I don't know what they're talking about. And I don't encourage you to follow anything that they might link or encourage you to go to. I don't know what they're talking about. So our next order is going out to Tracy. She got our light roast. Tracy is a repeat customer, a regular customer of ours. Really appreciate Tracy. These are going all the way to Albuquerque. Thank you, Tracy. So she's getting 3 of this is our peak season fall light roast. So we have a seasonal light roast. She's got 3 bags of it going out. And so this is going to Albuquerque. Sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. Going to Albuquerque. I love having this seasonal light roast. Like every 4 months or every 3 months, we get a brand new coffee. And actually, we'll be switching to our winter light roast really this week. These are our last bags that got roasted this past Tuesday. These are our last bags that we'll have of the fall seasonal light roast. I got a couple left. So this coffee is also from Honduras, and this is from a small farm, from the farm of Lenin Diaz, who's really well known in the coffee world for making some great coffees. This is a single origin, fair trade, organic coffee. Single origin means all the beans come from one farm or one cooperative of farms from the same place. So this is coming from La Flores, Honduras. The subtle tasting notes that you're going to get here, you're going to have like crisp apple, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of orange peel. I get more of the caramel is what I taste more in this coffee, but as it cools down, you'll get like a hint of that orange peel, which is really nice. I love this cup of coffee. This is one of the better fall seasonals, in my opinion. You know, we all have different things that we like, but really nice cup of coffee. Our winter seasonal is coming out. I mean, the first roast will be this week, so that's awesome. I haven't tried it yet, but that one's from, wrong side back. That one's from Papua New Guinea, the one that we're going to launch. The last coffee we had from Papua New Guinea was really good. So thank you, Tracy. Tracy's a regular customer. I think we usually see an order from Tracy once a month. That's what we encourage people to do. This coffee is ultra, ultra fresh. So to save money on shipping, we encourage people to buy like whatever you would typically drink in a month's period of time. Because if you buy 2 bags, it's the same price as buying 3 bags in terms of your shipping costs. So if you drink 3 bags a month, we encourage you to do an order with 3 bags. Just that's going to be your best rate for shipping and all that. So
Tracy typically gets 3 bags. We see her every month. I think that's a good strategy. Again, all this coffee was roasted last Tuesday. I literally showed up like they said that they had just finished roasting it, like within an hour of me showing up to pick it up at the roastery. Like it doesn't get any fresher than that. Our car, and then we had it in our car all weekend, and our car just smells so much of coffee, which is a good thing. Thank you, Tracy, for your order. By the way, I'm talking about the coffee. If you want to learn more about our coffee and read about it, I'm going to drop the link right there. That's a direct link to our coffee site. You can learn about where all the coffee's from. You can learn the tasting notes and all that. Of course, you can ask me too. And if you're looking for recommendations on what you should try, if you haven't tried our coffee before, just let me know down below in the chat what brand and roast that you usually drink, or if there's a couple different ones that you like, you can drop those down below and I can make you a recommendation based on that. Or you can check out the website and read for yourself. I think it's fun to sort of learn about where the coffee's from, the different tasting notes and all that stuff. So you can learn all that at that link right there in the chat. If you're on Instagram, you won't be able to see a link in the chat, but you can just go to my profile and you'll find a link to our coffee site right there from my profile. All you got to do is tap on my name on Instagram and get to that. So that order's out for Tracy. Our next order is going to, we got 2 first-time customers, which is really exciting. It's always fun to get some new customers on board. And by the way, if you get an order in while we're live, I'm going to stop what I'm doing now, and I'm going to ship out your order. So at any point during this live, if you drop that, or if you get an order in, just let me know. Just ping me in the chat. I might miss it on my screen here, but ping me in the chat, and I'll get you shipped out here on the live with a big dose of gratitude. That's always fun. John's got first-time customer, and this is a lot of fun. He got the Peak Taster Pack, so he got 1 bag of each. So I have a feeling that John's going to try these, and I told him in the thank you note, I'm like, let me know what your favorite is. And I'm curious, but so 3 bags, 1 of each. And I haven't shown you this. This is our Hooper's Creek. This is our medium roast. This is our best seller. This is our original coffee. It's Kim and I's favorite coffee on the planet. It's our regular daily driver. We drink it most days. If you haven't tried our coffee before, you're not really sure what to try, and you don't want to ask for a recommendation, I would go with a medium roast. Total crowd pleaser. Very, very balanced cup of coffee, right? It won't offend anybody. It's just smooth. It's balanced. A little hint of milk chocolate that gives it like just a hint of subtle sweetness. Just a beautiful, beautiful coffee. They're all beautiful. We're supposed to love all our coffees equally, but it's Kim and I's favorite coffee. It's just such a good, easy daily driver. And it has always been our best seller. If I could have one coffee the rest of my life, it's that one. I love coffees that are from Central America. They tend to have like that milk chocolate sweetness from that area. And this coffee is from Chiapas, Mexico, which is the southernmost state in Mexico. Like all good coffee, it's grown at high elevation, high humidity in the tropics. That's where the best coffee is grown. And this is from the mountains, the highlands of Chiapas, Mexico, right down by the Guatemala border. So this is going to, which one am I doing? John right now. Thank you, John. I'm curious to hear what your favorite of the 3 is. First time customer. That's always fun. Reselling started out as a side hustle while I had a full-time job. Then I quit my full-time job and became a full-time reseller. So then I needed a side hustle. So now coffee's my side hustle. It's just like a fun business, creative outlet. I've enjoyed really learning about coffee. I didn't really know really anything about coffee. I just knew that I liked good coffee and just didn't really know much about it. So I've learned so much since we launched the coffee business back in 2023 in the spring. Just learned so much about it. And it's been a lot of fun. 2.5 years of doing this business. I feel like I learn every day, and I like learning about coffee. I enjoy coffee. It's cool. I love Christmas blend from Starbucks, but sick of going to them. Do you have a comparable blend? So this Christmas blend from Starbucks is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to bring that one up right now on my screen just to make sure that it's the one that I'm thinking of. They have so many different blends. Is it the holiday blend? Is that the one? I think that's probably the one you're talking about. Let's see. Premium ground coffee, vanilla, holiday brand, elegant, cafe quality, 100% Arabica, limited edition, notes of sweet. Okay. So that one's a little different. If it's the holiday blend, it's a little bit different because that one's going to have tasting notes of sweet maple and herbs, which is typical with some of these like holiday roasts, right? They give you kind of like that like sweet kind of herbal vibe to it, which is cool. I think those are really fun. It's a cool cup of coffee. So I would suggest checking out our medium roast. And so our Hooper's Creek medium roast, that's going to be a total crowd pleaser, super balanced, super smooth. You're not going to get those sweet maple notes and those herb notes, but what you are going to get is that like slightly sweet milk chocolate notes. Our coffee too, I have to say it, like I think you'll smell and taste the difference too, right? Because this is fair trade organic coffee, and the Starbucks isn't. So and it's also single origin, our medium roast. It all comes from the same cooperative of farms in Chiapas, Mexico. So you're not getting a blend of all these different beans. It is one single bean from one single farm, and it is super fresh. This stuff was roasted on Tuesday. So the stuff that you're buying at the grocery store, including Starbucks, most of that stuff is over 90 days since it was roasted. And that's going to be different. It's just different. It's like getting a tomato from at a farmer's market that was, from a farm that was picked yesterday, right? Like the day before. That tomato is going to taste different. That carrot's going to taste different. And the same is true with coffee too, right? It's a bean, it's natural. And when that stuff is roasted fresh, like we get a lot of customers who tell us as they're walking to their mailbox, right? They smell the coffee. And that's an experience when you step up into a premium, fresh roasted, small batch, fair trade, organic coffee. I mean, this is like the top of the shelf coffee. But I would encourage you to check out the medium roast. I think you'll like it. You'll still get that. You won't get the sweet maple, but you'll get like a sweet milk chocolate, which in some ways will be similar to this holiday blend. It won't have the herbalness of the holiday blend, but I think you should. That would be what I would recommend to check out. And I think that you'll notice the difference. I think you'll smell and taste the difference for sure. Going away, your opinion on vacation settings of my delivery date. Everyone says vacation mode on eBay messes up algorithm. I plan on posting every day well away. I don't know. Everybody's sort of got their like black cauldron, which is magic stuff with like the time away mode or whatever. The bottom line is like, I mean, you're going to be away. And if I don't know how long you're away for, but you're going to need to let customers know that things are going to take a little bit longer to ship. Otherwise, you're going to get all kinds of messages from people who are upset that their stuff hasn't shipped yet. So I think, time away mode is, even though it's unpopular, I think it's probably the way to go. That's what I do, is put on that time away mode. I mean, it's one thing to have like 3 days, if you're gone for a couple of days and it's 3-day handling time, that's not so bad. You can change all your listings, bulk edit it to 3-day handling time. The problem is when you bulk edit all your listings to 3-day handling time, not all of the listings will change, because anything that has an active offer, you can't change something like that. So if there's either an active offer somebody sent you or you sent it out to them, there's an active offer on that item, then there's that you can't change those items. So if you're using Nifty where you're sending offers constantly, right, you'll probably have a lot of listings that you can't change. So that's the challenge with it. And you'll have a couple of items that end up being late shipping. But if you're gone for more than 3 days, to me, time away mode, that makes the most sense, I think, in most scenarios. I don't know. You could probably dream up a scenario. Yep, that's the Hooper's Creek medium roast. It's not a blend, but yes, you're on it. It's not a blend. It's a single origin. But the Hooper's Creek medium roast, that's what I would recommend. And again, Chuki, the link to the website is just, if you haven't found it already, you just tap my name, go to the profile. You'll see the coffee website right there. If you get an order in during the live, I'll ship it out right here during the live with a big dose of gratitude. That's fun. That's how we started this whole business, was was being live every morning, sipping coffee and shipping out orders. And then we launched the coffee, and that's where we sold like 90% of our coffees was actually just right here on the live stream. We used to run really big live streams back at that time on TikTok. We would have typical crowd would be 90 to 130 people. These days we run about, we're typically between 40 and 50 people on these live streams, which is great. It's a great crowd, but that was how we sold our coffee was just talking shop, talking reselling, and sipping coffee while everybody else was sipping their morning coffee and doing their thing too. And that's how we started the business. Somebody was like, why don't you have your own coffee? And I was like, that's ridiculous. And then, fast forward a few months, we had our own coffee, which is really cool. We have the best roasting partners in the world. What a sales pitch. Give someone the opportunity to see you hustle. Someone, please buy something. I want to watch that. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's not, our coffee business isn't a big business. It is a side hustle for me, and it is fun. And I know when I launched it, I would get negative comments from people saying like, that I'm, that I jumped the shark, or that I'm taking advantage of their viewers by selling to them. It's like, I don't know, like it's like our business. We talk about it just like I talk about eBay and Poshmark, and it's no different, and it's fun. I like talking about coffee. If you don't like talking about coffee, that's fine. I get it. Like some people will pop off. They're like, I'm not into the coffee thing. That's cool. And we're going to jump back into clothing here in a second, but we're going to ship out our coffee orders. We're going to be proud of our coffee business, our little coffee business. And it's fun. And, our many of our followers, right, they drink coffee anyway, and it gives them an opportunity to buy it from somebody that they know and they like. And it's great coffee. I mean, it's not BS coffee. I mean, it's top shelf stuff. It's roasted fresh, small batch, organic, fair trade. I mean, there's not better coffee in terms of like a classification or a category of coffee. There isn't a level above this. This is at the top. So, and we sell it for a very reasonable price. The price of coffee went up 40%. Like raw beans, coffee beans went up 40% in 2024. And don't give me the tariffs bullshit. It happened before the tariffs, 40% increase in coffee. So a lot of people like raise their coffee prices a lot. We had to raise ours a little bit, but we've held pretty strong. But there's a lot of coffees that are very similar to ours in quality, same tier, and they're charging $3, $4, $5 more per bag than what we're charging too. So we're trying to keep the price very reasonable. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but we use our coffee as a conduit to also raise money to do good in our community. So $1.50 of every bag of Hooper's Creek that we sell goes directly to families, not to an organization, goes directly to families who are still recovering both physically and financially from Hurricane Helene last year. So real people here in our town. That's why we renamed the coffee to Hooper's Creek, because $1.50 of every bag of this coffee is going to somebody whose home got destroyed from Hooper's Creek. It's the creek that runs by our house that ruined a lot of our neighbors' homes. So that's why the coffee got rebranded as Hooper's Creek. They call this neighborhood, like this area that we live in Fletcher, is called Hooper's Creek, but they named it after the creek. And that creek happened to flood a lot of people's homes here in our neighborhood during the hurricane. So $1.50 from each bag. So it's a conduit for us to do good and raise money. And y'all helped us raise a crap ton of money right after the hurricane in the fall, like September 27th through January 1. You helped us raise over $45,000 in various different ways that we raised that money. But $45,000 of direct support to people who are directly impacted, and putting cash in people's hands so that they could dig out of their issues, their challenges. And we're very proud of that too. But so that's, it's a fun side hustle, and it's something I always want to do. I wanted to have a way to give back. Some of you might have remembered for a little while I was selling on Whatnot. I sold on Whatnot for like 8 months, but for like the last month or two, basically 2 months, I think, or a month and a half, I started selling shoes. And part of what I did was $2 from every pair of shoes that I sold. I was selling new in box or new without box shoes. $2 from every sale was going directly to an organization in Boone, North Carolina, where I went to grad school. It was going to, it's called the Farm Cafe, and FARM is an acronym for fix, feed all regardless of means. FARM, FARM, Farm Cafe. So, and basically all our money that we raised from that went directly to the Farm Cafe, and they used that money to feed people who couldn't pay for their meals. And that's their whole thing, their whole shtick. They allow people to, they serve food and they charge for it, but they allow people to then also pay forward meals. And they serve something like, it's like 100,000, free meals that were that were through donations from people in the community and stuff. So we did that for a couple of months. I ended up giving up that part of the business. It just wasn't working for me. I didn't like the way it was going. I wasn't actually enjoying it very much, doing that Whatnot live streaming stuff. So I like Whatnot, but I didn't like doing the shoes on Whatnot. I had to stream for too long to get enough sales. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I tried something. I didn't like it. I moved on to the next thing. But I loved being able to just have like a regular means of giving back and using like a small portion of my business to do that. But now we do it with our best-selling coffee. We didn't do it with like a one-off coffee. We did it with literally our bestseller, our OG, like our signature coffee. $1.50 of every bag of that. Our Hoopers Creek medium roast goes to families in need in the community. Sale on coffees. Coffee's on sale every day, Donna. Dark roast is my favorite. I appreciate you saying that. Just ordered. Looking forward to trying this out. Oh, okay, Tukey. What's am I saying that right? By the way, is it Tukey? You can correct me. Appreciate it. Let me just double check here. Is it Laura? Laura, I got your order. We got a bag of the medium roast ground. Again, this was just roasted Tuesday, so you get fresh coffee. You're gonna smell this when it hits your mailbox. As you approach the mailbox, you're gonna be like, "What? That smells delicious." So we got this coming right out to you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. It's super fun to ship to our friends. You know, the eBay business too. So I grew up in the restaurant business. You have regulars. You know what people eat. You know their names of their kids. You get to know their families and stuff. They come in all the time. You get these regulars, and you serve people food, and they thank you for it. They're like, "Hey, that was a great meal. We really enjoyed it." Like, you build these relationships with people in the community. That's how I grew up in business. Was in working for small family-owned businesses or family-owned restaurants, and then I start selling on eBay, and I'm just shipping stuff to strangers. Right? Usually, people don't come back and buy again and again. If they really enjoy the product, maybe they'll, their shirt or whatever, that maybe they'll leave me positive feedback on eBay or something like that. But there's like not really like a relationship. It's a different kind of business for me, and it's great. I love the eBay business, but it always felt like it was lacking like a little relationship piece. So launching the coffee has really scratched that itch for me. I have regular customers, people who appreciate the coffee. They tell me about the coffee, like Donna here in the chat, and that's really fun for me. It gives me, even though it's not in person, it's still missing that piece. It's kind of in person, right? I can chat that, I can talk to you. You can put stuff in the comments section or the chat section down below, and it's fun. It gives me a little sense of that, like, true small business. So, and that's important to me. It always has been, and it's fun. So thank you, Laura, for the opportunity to ship you some coffee here. We're going to the Big Apple, are we? Thank you, Laura. First order. I hope you love it. I hope you come back and give me some feedback, because I just told you how much I enjoy that. And I miss that from like being in the restaurant business, the hospitality business. We're going to get back to clothing in a moment, y'all. I know some of you are like, come on, stop talking about coffee. I like tea. I like monsters. But yeah, please, Laura, give us some feedback. I'm going to throw a Chris at Peak sticker in there for you too. Boom, there you go. Handwritten thank you note for you, like we do in all our orders. We do these in all our eBay orders too, so get that in there. You're going to get a shipping confirmation here in about a minute here. Get you packed up. So first time customer Laura, New York, New York. And I've always been like pro, like support small business. And to me, like coffee shops and coffee roasters, they're like a quintessential like small business, in my opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion, but they usually tend to be, small operations, family owned, or a couple of partners, and it's usually like it's oftentimes a first business for people. Like it's not like they're a serial entrepreneur, right? It's a good kind of like starter business. Open up a coffee shop and open up a roastery kind of thing. So I always encourage people to, if you can't support me, that's cool, but go support some local coffee roasters, local coffee shops in your area, and maybe not support the big guys so much, the big monster chains and gosh, I mean, the coffee, if you can get coffee fresh, it's always better. I swear you're going to get a shipping confirmation. My shipping platform, Pirate Ship, is loading very slowly. It did this morning too, but it ultimately loaded. I'm going to put this aside for a second. I'm going to wait for this to load. I'm going to pivot over to Charles's order because I already got his shipping label out. And I'll keep my eye on yours, Laura, and we'll get that. You'll get a shipping confirmation in a moment. It's still loading. It'll do it eventually. So our next order is another first-time coffee customer, which is really fun. Get them hooked and get them back for more. So Charles got a bag of whole bean Hooper's Creek. So this is an interesting order. We don't get this all the time, but we do get it sometimes where somebody gets a bag of whole bean and a bag of ground, which is, I like the idea, right? Because the idea is if you fresh grind your coffee at home, it's got to also taste fresher. Like if you grind it that morning, right, and make the coffee, it's got to be fresher than ground. But our coffee is so fresh that sometimes customers will come and they'll order one of the bags ground, and this is the one that they'll drink first in theory, right? And then this is the one like maybe next week they'll grind fresh so they can keep it fresher. So I like the strategy. It's actually really smart because it allows you to be a little bit lazy with the first bag. It's already so darn fresh, right? And then the second one, you can grind it next week and still get that really fresh vibe too. So Charles has got a bag of the whole bean medium roast and our fall seasonal light roast. We got one bag of the fall seasonal light roast left, y'all. And then we're going to be switching to the winter light roast. We'll get our first roast this week, which is exciting. So thank you, Charles, first time customer, going to Middlebury, Indiana. I'll be almost done building my new storage shed, 10 by 16. That's awesome. All my eBay and Poshmark, etc., ready to go. That's sick. Get you a little shed. Are you going to call it a she shed? Isn't that a thing? Hey, Francis, how are you? Welcome in. Always good to see you, Francis. Thanks for popping into the live. Have I shared with you, Francis, that my grandmother, my father's mother was named Francis? Thank you, Charles. And interestingly, we were talking about my grandmother Frances just a couple of days ago, just Saturday, because Kim and I went and visited my Uncle John and my Aunt Mary, which are Aunt Mary is my dad's sister is Aunt Mary. So her mom is Frances. We got a chance to visit her. She had a stroke of all things on Thanksgiving. She's doing really good, but she had a stroke on Thanksgiving and had to spend a couple of days in the hospital, which is always a scary thing. So she had got out Saturday, and we happened to be out in her neck of the woods and down in the Piedmont, North Carolina. So we went by and spent an hour with chitty-chatting with Aunt Mary and Uncle John, and it was good to see Mary doing good, but a scary couple of days for sure. Okay, Laura, I got you. You're going to have a shipping confirmation in your inbox right now. It just took a minute for it to load. I'm not sure why it's slow today. But this is going to go USPS. You have a shipping confirmation in your inbox, Laura. Thank you so much. And that'll have your tracking information there. Shouldn't be long. And I appreciate you so much for trying our coffee. Can't wait for your feedback. Means a lot to Kim and I. Supporting our tiny little coffee business. It is definitely a side hustle, y'all. Chris isn't getting rich off coffee. You just got a fun little side business. Some of you do reselling as a side hustle. My side hustle is coffee. Oops. And I got you a little sticker in there too, or a little Chris at Peak sticker. Thank you so much. All right, so that's our coffee orders. Of course, if you get an order of coffee while we're live, just let me know. I'll stop what I'm doing and I will get your order straight out the door to you with a big dose of gratitude. just like we did with Laura. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate that. She's doing really, really well. It was, you know how those things go. They're scary and all that stuff. I was named after my grandmother. Nice. Okay. That is cool. I can dig it. But yeah, I appreciate the prayer. She's doing great. Do you think keeping coffee in the refrigerator keeps it fresh? So Lou, there's conversation about like, do you put it in the fridge and do you not put it in the fridge? Ultimately, what our coffee roaster taught us is that the best way to keep it is like in a cabinet, right? Like in a cool, dry place. So refrigerator being unnecessary. Some people will freeze it though too, like if they're not going to use it for a long time. I actually worked for a restaurant that used to like freeze their coffee too. But our roaster, again, these people are no joke. They've been in business for 16 years. They've been voted as Western North Carolina's #1 coffee roaster 13 years in a row, #1. These people know their stuff. And they say, nope, just keep it in the cabinet, or they say a cool, dry place. But most people just throw it in the cabinet. That's how they store their own coffee. Appreciate that, Francis. Thank you, Laura, for Edward's so happy that he got to see that. Thank you, Laura, for allowing me to appease and entertain Edward. That's important to me too. Oh man, it's fun. All right, let's do some Poshmark orders. This might be there's just so many orders because we got 6 days of sales going out the door that there's no way to stay really organized as I usually do in here. But we're fairly organized. So let's get rocking. All right, we got another pair of Levi's. This is a pair of vintage Y2K 505. So not super old vintage. People love to get mad at me when I call Y2K jeans vintage. Where are they? I swear I had some Levi's. Maybe I didn't pull that order. I told you it was going to be a little bit disorganized. Maybe I didn't pull that order. We'll skip that one for now. Maybe I didn't get that one. So next up is a Brooks Brothers merino wool sweater. I got this retail clearance. I thought it would be a quick seller. I probably priced it too high. We got Brooks Brothers. Doesn't show me the MSRP, but that's been brand new with tags. Oh, I was going to show you the pattern on this. It's a really cool pattern, but the way it's folded, you can't see it. So I'll have to share my screen here. Cool, dry place. I use a stainless canister with a rubber seal and snap block. Yep, that's a great idea. And if you wanted to go one step better than that, which that's really good. One step better is using one of those ones. I forget what they call it. I'll remember it. I have to go to Dynamite's website, but it's a thing that you can use that like presses out all the air, because air is the enemy of coffee or anything fresh, right? Because it oxidizes. But what is that called? I can drop you a link to one from Dynamite if you're interested. Hold on. It's called an airscape container. I'll drop you the link to the one from Dynamite. So even just so you can like look at it and see what it's all about. Not necessarily trying to sell you on it, but if you want to check that out, it's called an airscape. And the idea is that top lid pushes down inside of that canister. So as like you take more and more coffee out, you can push it down even further, and it pushes all that air out and keeps your coffee fresh. Might be something you want to check out. Anything over 20 years is now vintage. That is correct by most people's definition of the word vintage. No, vintage technically, like by definition, like Webster's dictionary, doesn't technically mean that it's 20 or more or 30 or more or 50 or more. It just means it's of a certain time is the way it's phrased in the dictionary. But typically what people describe as vintage in the clothing community is the most recognized number of years is 20 years, but people get really upset about that. So this is the item right here. I thought like a pretty cool, like in style pattern. It just took a little while. I think I picked this up in January on clearance. Now, granted, January is not the best time to pick up sweaters. You're kind of like past the peak sweater selling season. I probably had mine priced too high, but I thought it's a cool piece. And it's a merino wool blend. It's got that kind of like Fair Isle kind of vibe to it. Anyway, men's size medium. Picked it up retail clearance, and it has sold for $55 on a best offer. I went back and forth with this customer a little bit, but just happy to get it gone. This is going to Liz. Oh, I already grabbed it. Liz is in Bronx, New York. Thank you, Liz. How are your eBay orders going? Posh is my biggest selling platform. That's awesome. eBay is been in this business now just over 7 years, and I've been cross-listing since 2021. What's that? 4 years ago. So in the 4 years that I've been cross-listing, every year eBay has been my number one selling platform. It is again this year. This year it'll be about 80-20 eBay to Posh, roughly. About 80-20. That's going out to Liz. Thank you, Liz. I have actually had, this was not my best Posh year. I actually did better last year on Posh. It was more like 75-25 basically. But I have really, ever since Posh messed around with remember they screwed around with the fees last September. They did it I remember people were messaging me, about it right after the storm. I was still in storm recovery mode. So it must've been late September or early October of last year. They did that fee change. Ever since they did that, I've just had a consistently slightly slower pace of sales on Poshmark, but it's been consistent since that date. But that date just lowered the water 5%, and I've just kind of stayed at that this year. It's fine. It's fine, but changes like that happen, the ups and downs of platforms. Gosh, I used to sell so much on Facebook Marketplace years ago, and then Facebook Marketplace tanked for me, totally tanked. Facebook Marketplace for a while was my number 2 selling platform, and then it tanked to number 5. So it happens. It happens. Oh, just talked about that one. All right, so first Poshmark is out the door. I need a little rhythm. I need a groove. I will say that adding complexity to your business with cross-listing, and also me adding the coffee to my business and doing all the social media and stuff, it's kind of these different speeds, different rhythm. Every platform is a little different. It's like changing gears, and changing gears isn't necessarily efficient. For me, I like it. I like having a variety of different things to do. It kind of keeps me interested, but switching gears all the time, it has its pros and cons. I'll just say that. Got a pair of polo jeans here going out the door. Where the heck are the polo jeans? Oh, here they are. Yeah, here they are. Polo jeans. Older tag on this one. I don't really know the date of these, to be honest with you, but these sold on Posh for, why do I always put things right here? I don't know why. I just want to show them to you. Sold for a best offer, $25 on Poshmark. Polo Ralph Lauren, Relax Straight Vintage Wash 40x30 jeans right here. Polo jeans are a good seller for me. They typically sell for $25 to $30. Good, consistent seller. I've been selling them for years. I love Polo Ralph Lauren jeans. I would take them over Levi's. They sell for a little bit more money. I just don't find them as much as I find Levi's. But I still find a fair amount of them. I will say that. These are going out to Toronto, Illinois, to Ashley. Thanks for your order, Ashley. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just popping in, good to have you. Arizona Pickin' is just popping in. AZ, what's up, brother? How are you? You buying another storage unit today or what? What you doing over there? Is that the real AZ? We got Poshmark orders going out. Next up is another Polo Ralph Lauren. This one sold for $17 on a best offer. It sat around for a little while. I thought it was a cool pattern. Polo Ralph Lauren, men's size large, pony on the chest, little plaid action right there. Thought it was a cool pattern. Sat around for a little bit, so I was happy to take a $17 offer. Typically, I sell these for $18 to $22, $23, but sometimes you just get one. It just kind of sits a little bit. You got to move it. And I did. $17. I paid $5 at the thrift store. Poshmark charges 20% fees, so that's going to be $3.40 in fees. Just going to leave me with $14.70. And I paid $5. So I basically made $10. Thank you, Jennifer. These are going to Boxborough, Mass. This is right. I know this area really well. My mother grew up in the Worcester area, and that's all that Marlborough, Westborough, Southborough, Boxborough, Shrewsbury, Framingham, all that stuff. All my like aunts and uncles and cousins and all that live out that way. So I know that area well. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, next up is a pair of Dickies. So I bought these to sell on Amazon. Dickies can sell pretty good on Amazon. A lot of these like kind of mid, like low to mid tier brands sell good on Amazon. But for whatever reason, like this SKU, they like stopped selling on Amazon. So I had to switch them over to eBay, and they sold for $25 on eBay. I forget how much I paid for these. I got a bunch of these on clearance. And anyway, I don't buy Dickies used to resell in most cases, but sometimes I'll buy them new to sell on Amazon. But move these ones to Poshmark, and they sold for $25. So Poshmark keeps 20% fees, so that's going to be $5. It's going to leave me with 20. I don't remember how much I paid for these. I want to say I paid like $10 or $9, but I had bought a lot of them and sold some of them quick, but then the price got tanked on Amazon. A lot of people came onto the listings, and then it's just like a race to the bottom in price. And then for whatever reason, that SKU is no longer available to sell on Amazon, which is strange. So I've had that happen only a few times. So I just had to switch it over to eBay and Posh, and it worked. So that's out the door. But that's not like a real, Dickies is not something I typically buy used. It's not really a big part of my business at all. Day off today, enjoying the day with family. Hope you're doing well. That's awesome. You deserve a day off. You're a hard worker over there, brother. Or at least you play a hard worker on TV. Next up is a vintage Pendleton. This is one of my favorite sales of the weekend. It's a $50 sale. So vintage Pendleton wool button-down shirt right here. Sold for 50 buckaroos. I paid $5 at a thrift store. Absolutely love finding these. Made in the USA, 100% virgin wool. How long did this take to sell? 6 days to sell. How about that? 5 into 50, 6 days to sell. Poshmark's going to take their 20%. That's going to leave me with $40. I paid $5, so profit $35 on this bad Larry. Gotta love that. We still got a lot of orders to do. This is a marathon live. It's already 3:15. What the heck? Where does the day go? People ask me, why don't you like taking vacations and traveling? Like, ugh, because I'm going to have to go home and ship for 1 billion hours. I'm just kidding. It's fine. I appreciate all the orders. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate y'all hanging out. But this is a bit of a long shipping live. So we got some rhythm now. We're moving. Next up is a pair of Prana pants. Not all Prana pants are made the same, just like just about any brand, but these ones, like the best ones are like hiking ones, like synthetic, like they're polyester, spandex blend. I love selling the Prana Zion. The Prana Brian is another good one. Those ones sell for like about $30. This one's called the McClee. This is more of like a cotton spandex blend, like a casual rather than like a hiking pant. They still sell. They just don't sell as good as those other ones. This sold for best offer $22 on this one. So these are like a $20, $22 pant instead of like the better models, which can be more like a $30 to $35 pant. So these are going to Mary. Thank you, Mary. Next up, we got a pair of Viore joggers. Basically like an instant sale whenever I find these. All right, out the door, we got Viore joggers. You can see that little Viore logo right there. I had to sneak these ones by Kim because they're her size. But when I told her about the sale, I was like, hey, I just sold some Viore joggers. They're your size. I got $40 for them. She was wearing literally the same jogger at the time, so I was safe. She's like, that's fine. I already got a pair. But she's like, if you find one in a different color, I want those. But she was fine with these ones going out the door because she's already got this pair. She wears them a lot too. So $40 on these. It's a $5 thrift store find. Always love finding Viore. How long did these take to sell? I feel like that was like, it took 2 days. Oh, never mind. That's another pair of Viores. I don't think I pulled those ones yet. I just want to make sure I'm not confusing those two. So I sold another pair of Viores in 2 days, but these ones sold overnight. 1 day on these ones. The joggers. These are going to Elaine. I listed both of these pairs on Friday. One sold on Saturday, one sold on Sunday. How about it? I made a photo post about this sale yesterday, and somebody, nice person, follower in the comments, said, you know, it's funny that some people can sell things fast, and for other people, they just sit. She's like, I have a pair of Viores, and they're just sitting, and they won't sell. And I said, you know, I don't believe in the notion that some people are just like, it's just, they're lucky they sell those things. You know, that works for their store, but it doesn't work for other people's store. I don't believe in that notion, except for the fact that some people are just better at creating listings and have a better selling strategy than other people. And that's what I said to her. I said, you know, nicely, I said, honestly, I don't believe in some like conspiracy where some stores are better at selling things than others. Like, it just comes down to the people who sell the things are just, they have a better selling strategy. They're putting together better listings, better photos, you know, better promotional rates, cross listing, automation, all that stuff. Some people are just better at it. That's why they sell that stuff. And then she came back. I don't think she liked my response. I wasn't trying to be mean. I just said, look, if you can't sell Viore joggers, I think you just need a better listing strategy. And she defended her listing strategy. I was like, ooh, I wasn't meaning to say any of that. But anyway, I wasn't meaning to push back on her. But honestly, if you have a hard time selling Viore joggers on your store, they have over 100% sell-through rate. So if they're just sitting for you and you can't get a sale like within 90 days on Viore joggers, they're over 100% sell-through rate. There's something wrong with that listing. You're probably a great seller, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're a great human. You're a great seller. You're a great person. You're a great shopper. You're a great picker. But there's something wrong with that listing, whether it's the photos, whether it's your promotional rate, whether it's your keywords. There's something wrong with that listing. Your pricing is too high. There's something wrong with it if you can't sell a pair of Viore joggers with over anything that's over 100% sell-through rate. Like, I get what somebody could say about, like, well, this person's better at selling LL Bean than me, but I sell these things. But I get that. Like, but this is a high STR item, a high sell-through rate item. Viore joggers, very high, over 100%. If you're having a hard time selling that, if they're just sitting around for you, you got to take a hard look at the listing. I actually offered to look at the girl's listing. I was like, if you want to drop the link, I'm happy to give you some feedback. But she didn't like that. She thought I was like kind of stepping on her toes, or maybe I was. I don't know. I was just trying to help. But sometimes tone doesn't come through in comment section. But honestly, if you're not selling Viore joggers in less than 90 days, it's over 100% sell-through rate item. There's something wrong with the listing. And maybe I shouldn't say there's something wrong with the listing. There's something about the listing that can be updated or enhanced. I'll just say that. If it's over 100% sell-through rate item and it's not selling for you in 90 days, double check the listing and look for, there's an opportunity for you to fix something. Well, only a hard worker on TV. I love that. AZ is in the house. Do you source in the afternoon after shipping?
Typically, yes. Typically, yes. My postal worker comes at 11 in the morning most days, so she's already come today. And I just do this live, and it took me forever to set up for pull all these orders and stuff. There's just a lot of it for the live, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get all my packages out in time when she came. But yeah, typically, 100% is the right category. Keywords right. Good. Exactly, Edward. Exactly, Edward. And honestly, it's probably more than one thing that's wrong. If it's 100% sell-through rate item, it's in season, and it's been more than 90 days, that means there's probably a couple things wrong, because even an item like that can survive some like okay photos, and it can survive some not great keywords, right? But so there's probably like a couple things that are wrong with it. But I just push back on the notion that it's like, well, some people's store is better at selling that particular item than mine. It's like, well, no, they have a better selling strategy, period. Their listing is better, and like the strategy around their listing, whether it be, promotions, cross listing, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, there could be a mistake. It could be that. It could be in the wrong category. You maybe put the size in wrong. I mean, if you have a pair of Viorgis that's been sitting for over 90 days, take a look at that dang listing, Shoot, I'll look at it for you. Here's something that's not maximized there that can be better. All right, we were in a good rhythm, and now you got me off topic. I got me off topic. Got a Psycho Bunny t-shirt. Bought a whole bunch of Psycho Bunny like last summer clearance, and a lot of it sold really quickly, but I had a lot of units, like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 units of this exact t-shirt, this white t-shirt, size 3XL. It just wasn't a great seller, but it has been selling, and I think this might be the last one. No, there was one more out there. But I had a lot of this SKU. So it took a year and a half to sell, but that same SKU has already sold like 5 or 6 times before this. So it's been selling. It's just didn't sell, the white color. I had the other colors that sold out really quickly, but this white color just kind of just leisurely going out the door. So this is going to Rebecca, kind of like I'm leisurely shipping my orders today. This is going to Bristol, Connecticut. Thank you, Rebecca. Why am I putting this in? I can just use one of the free bags. Why am I doing that? Why am I using that? I mean, it doesn't matter, but I might as well save the 6 cents and use the free bag. All right. Thanks, Rebecca. Don't trust government adhesive. All right, next up. Pair of Judy Blues. These are women's size 9.29. And these sold for something. Sold for a best offer of $26 on these. This is actually a nifty best offer. I had them listed at $29. Nifty sent this person a 10% off offer automatically. Then they counter offered at $22. I re-countered at that same $26 offer that Nifty sent, and she accepted that. So Nifty kind of getting the hockey assist there, I would call it, right? Nifty got the negotiations started, so to speak, which I appreciate. I still landed the plane. I do that a lot, actually. I send out, Nifty sends out those offers, and people are like, okay, cool, I want the item, but maybe I can get it a little bit cheaper. So they'll counter offer a little bit cheaper. I'll just counter at that same price, and I'll get the sale. And I don't blame people for trying. You can't win if you don't play, so whatever. I don't blame people for trying to get a little bit of a better price, but I oftentimes get sales in that very same scenario. So Nifty with the hockey assist there. Next up is an order for a Patagonia. This is interesting. I just sold this same exact Snap Tee Patagonia fleece. I sold it last week it was used, and I think I got $55 for it. And here's a brand new one going out the door. Retail is $139 on this, and this sold for $85, brand new. Got this retail clearance also.
somebody came in earlier and said, if you put your shipping labels on your poly bag before you put the item in, it'll, the label will be flatter with no creases or whatever. So to appease that person, that's exactly what we just did. How about that? More than one way to skin a cat. Which is a really weird thing to say, but. So this is going to Camille. I had a waitress by the name of Camille that worked for me at one of the restaurants. She was a really nice person, Camille. That's the only person I've ever known named Camille, but she was really nice. We got a Cabela's here. Nothing fancy here. Not a quick seller, low sell-through rate type of item. It's a basic Cabela's Outfitter series, just 100% cotton button-down shirt. Grab this one. It's got a nice fall pattern, size extra large, tall. Sold for a best offer of $18. Not the best seller here. This is an exact type of item that I would not pick up if I didn't take those 9 steps that I talk about, my machine to sell low sell-through rate items. If I just had mediocre listings and didn't have like cross-listing and automation from Nifty, I would not pick up this Cabela shirt. To me, this requires doing all 9 of those steps, including cross-listing and automation. Otherwise, this is it's a slow seller anyway, but I can move some of this stuff through with my low sell-through rate selling machine. I can do it by taking all those steps. But otherwise, this is a type of item that can sit in your store forever. So I don't recommend picking this up if you're not doing all those things, if you're not doing great photos, if you don't really have a good keyword game, if you're not promoting on eBay, if you're not cross-listing other platforms, and if you don't have automation tools to help you show up higher in search results, I would not pick up 100% cotton Cabela shirts, even in a good size like extra large tall. They will just, if you buy them consistently, you'll end up building a ton of them up in your inventory. You'll have to discount them heavily to get them gone. To me, that's only if you have a similar low STR machine selling process at your place too, then I would suggest doing it. And we've built our whole business on selling that exact type of thing. Got a North Face Summit. Oh, I don't think I grabbed this one. I missed grabbing that one, I think, from inventory. So I'll have to put that one aside for now. I don't see it. So I got a North Face here. This is a little puffer vest. Nice little grab here. I bought this for $5. Where is the sale? Here it is. And it sold for $32 on Poshmark. And this was on a best offer right here. This is actually like on one of those back and forths, like Nifty started the offer. And then I went back and forth with the customer and we settled at $32. It's kind of hard to see what's going on here, but it's a polyfill, not down, but a polyfill North Face size extra small puffer vest. So really small size. Sold for $32. I paid $5. Great sale right there. Poshmark's going to keep 20% fees. That means they're keeping $6.40. So that's going to leave me with $25.60. And I paid $5. So a $20 profit on this one right here. Little North Face piece. And this is going to Casey. Thank you, Casey. Casey's in Grove City, Minnesota. And we're getting closer to the end. I can feel it. I do got to pull a couple of orders from the garage that I must have missed. Thank you, Casey. It's just a mess of packages over here. All right. I sold on is that all my Poshmark? Except for that one that I missed. And that one. Okay, I got a couple more I got to grab out of the garage. Got an order for Leah. This was on. Oh, this is Poshmark. No. I got to do my Mercari order. I didn't print out that label, I don't think. We got one Mercari order of brand new pair of Halara wide leg pants, $22. I gotta print out this shipping label. This is going to Laura. Got a couple Laura orders today. I like it. Here's that piece. Brand new with tags. Halara, not a brand that I sell a lot. I found these off a Fresh Rack at the Goodwills for $5 and sold on Mercari for $22. After fees on that, that means I'm going to be at. They're leaving me with $19.01. I paid $5, so it's a $14.01 profit on that. We'll take it. And this is going UPS Ground Saver. So I got a few UPS packages I got to drop off. I do like the rates that Mercari has negotiated with UPS and FedEx for that Ground Saver. I think it's like $7.97 at the 2-pound rate, which is great. I just hate having to go to UPS to drop this stuff off. I usually go to a CVS that's nearby, but it's just like an extra task to do. It's not a big deal, but I'd rather go USPS. But the 2-pound USPS Mercari label, I think is like $11. It's like a big difference. So for me, I just do it. I don't know why. I don't know why I keep Mercari anyway for like one sale every 6 days, but that's where we're at. I got to run outside and grab 2 orders that I missed pulling, I think. Oh, it's just because they came in this morning. I just didn't. They came in while I was pulling orders. That's why I missed them. So, yeah, got it. Okay, so I'll grab that. So that's an I8. And then this North Face. Is in F1. This Fiore is an I6. Okay. I'm going to be right, and I'm going to see if anything came in on eBay. Nothing came in while we're live. I got an offer though. We'll accept that offer. $20 for a Lacoste long sleeve. Let's do it. So we'll grab that one too. Do you leave the keyword at the bottom of the description or delete them on? Do you leave the keywords at the bottom of the description or delete them on? Why? Honest question. Why would I leave them? But why would I delete them? How do you remove musty old smell on clothes? I just spray them with some Febreze and I hang them out in the sun. So fresh air and sun is a great way to get rid of stuff. So, yeah. But I try not to pick up stuff like that too. Try to avoid it. But yeah, Joey, why would I delete keywords? You know, keywords and the description are going to help you show up higher in search results too, and help you show up in more search results. So that's actually like one of the big selling points to me for using Nifty's AI listing tool, is that it jam packs both the item title and the description with keywords, and both of those things feed the search engine. So I'm not sure why one would consider deleting keywords, which will actually help you show up in more search results. But maybe you can explain something that I'm missing. But no, I would definitely not delete those if you're using that tool. All right, so this will cost is in G3. Okay. I'm going to be right back in just a couple of minutes here. I'm going to grab 3 orders out of the garage, and we're going to keep on shipping here. Just got an order that came in live. Be right back. All right, thanks for holding. So we got 3 more orders going out. One that just came in and a couple that came in this morning. So first up, got a Lacoste, nice little, I guess, lavender purple kind of color, crocodile there on the chest. $20 long sleeve polo right here. So I picked this up for $5, just sold on the best offer at $20. I listed it for $24. I feel like it's like a $23, $24 shirt, but we'll take the quick sale. How quick was it? I feel like I just found this. Listed it on the 24th, so that took 7 days to sell. So nice quick sale right there. That was an eBay sale. This is going to ship at a 12-ounce rate. The buyer paid $6.95 for the shipping label. I'm going to print it right through eBay at a 12-ounce rate. USPS Ground Advantage. It's going to cost me $5.71. And this is going to Christian, going to Miami. Or sorry, St. Pete Beach, not Miami. The other coast. Can someone tell me the new Poshmark? I haven't sold anything in 2 weeks. What am I missing? I think there's like I don't know if the word is myth. That's not right, but I think there's like maybe a slight misunderstanding about like this new Poshmark. and I'm not insulting your statement, but I've just heard other people sort of making these like lavish declarations about how different Poshmark is. My experience with Poshmark, I've not had any difference in sales from when they made their slight updates to their algorithm earlier in the month. And I'll just give you an idea of like what my sales were this month on Poshmark. So in October, I sold 72 items on Poshmark for $2,763. So 72 for 2,700, we'll call it. In November, I sold 85 items for 4,027 items. So I'm basically up, so it's 2.3 a day in October to 2.8 a day in November. So for me, that's just sort of, and then eBay is about, maybe eBay is actually a little bit down in November from October. I did 10.6, 226 units in October, 225 units in November. So one less unit, and it ended up being about $500 less in sales. So eBay's flat, we'll call it. It's about the same, or maybe down 1% or something like that. Whereas Poshmark is up like 20%, right? 13 items. Let's just do 13 divided by 72. My Poshmark is up 18%, and like, eBay's down like 1% or something like that. So about even, right? So I know, platform changes are going to impact different people differently, like algorithm changes. And I get that. I totally get that. So I'm sorry that you've been slow for the last 2 weeks. My guess is that it's probably not as bad as you think. It's probably just a small sample size. You're having a slow couple of weeks, and it just happens to coincide with the fact that they just did an algorithm change, and that maybe you're disproportionately feeling that. But that maybe the next 2 weeks will be a different story. I think if I were you and I hadn't sold anything in 2 weeks, I would probably be a little bit concerned too. But maybe 2 weeks to me is probably still a slow sample size. Can you tell me a little bit about, like, Becky, how many listings do you have on Poshmark, and how many sales are you typically getting in a 2-week stretch? What is an average 2-week stretch of sales for you, and how many total listings you have? Maybe that can help kind of paint the picture of what's happening over in your end, because maybe it's more serious than I think. So I sold a pair of Viore Halo Essential wide leg. These took two days to sell. I went back and forth with this customer here. They sold for $50. This is a $5 thrift store pickup. And these are, again, the Halo Essential wide leg. So these sold for even more than what the joggers sold for. And that's about the market price. The market price for the wide legs for the Viores is just a little bit higher than the joggers, which kind of surprised me, to be honest, but they're worth a few extra bucks. So anyway, nice quick sale, 2 days, Viore. So shipping out 2 Viores today. Both of them sold quick. One sold in 1 day. This one sold in 2 days. This is going to Patty. Thank you, Patty, for your order. These were size large. These are not Kim's size, so I didn't have to sneak these ones past her. But these, I can see why people love these Viores. They're so soft, super soft. And this brand is just hot, hot, hot. And Becky, it looks like you hit one of my my keyword triggers. So when somebody comments, tell me, that's a keyword trigger. I send them the information on how they can order these USPS Ground Advantage bags for Poshmark. So you probably just got a direct message DM for me because you just hit that trigger there. So sorry. But maybe that's helpful for you. Maybe you want to know how to order those bags, but that was an accidental trigger that you got. So you do get a message from me in your inbox. I just do that to make it easy to give that information to people because it's a whole bunch of information. 808 listings, and I sell 7 to 10 a week. So yeah, I mean, going to no sales over 2 weeks is something that I would certainly want to investigate. I don't know the answer to your question. What I understand of what I read about the Poshmark update is that it's really not that big of a deal. They're putting a little bit less emphasis on shares, particularly like when you share other people's items. Poshmark isn't going to care about you sharing other people's items as much as they used to, and they put a little bit less emphasis on like your shares of your own items. So that's slight. And again, I haven't seen it impact my business at all. I'm up 18% on Poshmark. So my guess is that they're going to be tinkering with the algorithm. Anytime these platforms make changes, they typically don't go super smoothly. Like there's typically some unexpected consequences to what they've done, right? And then they listen to feedback, they see what happened, right? They look at the data, and then they sort of like update things again like a second time. So I guess we're going to see that. My guess is that we'll see that in this scenario too, because that's really what happens all the time. Therese, welcome in, Teresa. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well too. Thanks for joining over there on Instagram. So, and again, if you're just popping in now, we're at the tail end of this shipping. I still have a few items left to ship, but we're at the tail end. We're 3 hours and 24 minutes in. This is a marathon shipping live. The full live is available in recording as soon as I end this live here in a few minutes. So if you want to go back and watch and see everything that's sold on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon, and chrisatpeak.com, you can do that. And when you're watching the replay, you can fast forward through the boring stuff. You can rewind back to something that you missed that was important. So that is available. If you are watching this on replay too, I'll get back to all your questions and comments as well too. And you can just drop down below if you're watching the replay, right? SHIP, SHIP. That way I know that your people are watching that replay too. And but for sure, you can go back and watch that. If you're just catching the end, you can get it. So Becky, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what's going on ultimately with Poshmark. Anybody who says they 100% understand like what's going on with the algorithm changes, they're probably not being super accurate. A bunch of people are going to have different experiences. And typically what I see is the people come out with the extreme polars. So I told you I'm up 18% on Poshmark. You're down way on Poshmark. And there's typically, we're going to come out like this. But if we go another 2 weeks further, you might be up 20% and I might be down 10% or something. So I would say like, give it a little bit of patience. I would be a little bit concerned if I was down, but I don't have the answer for you. I'm really not sure. I'd say get back down to basics. Make sure your fundamentals are right. Do you have great photos? Meaning, are your photos better than your competition? Do you have great keywords in your item titles and your descriptions? Are you cross-listing all your inventory on other platforms so that when one platform goes down, it doesn't impact your business all that much? Are you promoting on eBay if you cross-list to eBay? Are you using automation tools that are sharing your items every day, delisting and relisting your items every day so that you show up higher in search results? Are you sending out auto offers using those automation tools too? To me, it's just like, it might be just a reality check or just like a good fundamentals check. Like business is down with your Poshmark, get back to the fundamentals and say, am I maximizing everything I can with my listings? And if the answer is no, if they're like, well, I could do a little bit better at this, then use this as an opportunity to go make those improvements and to just get 1% better every day. We're always trying to get like better at our business, better at these things. So sometimes it takes like a little bit of a dip to make us say, yeesh, I really got to go take a look at some of these things. Yeesh, I really got to be honest about, I'm not putting measurements in my listings maybe, and I've got away with it for all this time, but maybe now I'm not going to get away with it anymore. Or maybe my keyword game hasn't been as strong as it should be. I can get better at that. Maybe now's the time I got to work on it. Or maybe now's the time I got to invest in some photo lights. If I'm being honest, a lot of my photos have shadows in them, and I got away with it for a long time and I had good sales, but maybe the competition's catching up to me and it's time for me to go and like invest and get like a nice pair of a nice set of photo lights or something like that to help your photo quality get a little bit better. I don't know, I'm not looking at your store, but I'm just sort of talking to you, but also the other, 45 people who are in the room too, that use the downtimes, but use the challenges as a way to, encourage you to take a real honest, sober look at some of the things that you're doing. And maybe there's a way to improve it. But when things are down, I just get back to the fundamentals. That's what I've always done. That's what I did back in the restaurant business too. Like things are down. It's usually not like marketing that you got to fix. It's like, man, are we really doing as good of a job with the food as we could be? Is our service as attentive as it could be? Are we as clean as a restaurant as we could be? Is the parking lot clean? Is the lighting right? Like, are there things that we need to adjust and just get back to the fundamentals? And I do the same thing with my eBay and Poshmark business. Can those ground advantage bags be used on any platform? So according to Poshmark, in their deal with the USPS, they say that they can only be used for Poshmark. So I'm not going to share any opinion other than that. My Poshmark is also dead, but thanks to Nifty, my eBay and Depop are hopping. So yeah, I just shared that my from October to November, my eBay was about the same. 226 orders to 225 orders. I think one less order in November. So flat, right? And that's good. I had a really good, healthy eBay October. I'm happy with it. My Poshmark's up 18% in terms of dollars, or in terms of units sold. I'm up 18% in units. So I'm up from October, I had 72 to November, I've had 85. So that's a pretty good pop, you know, up $2,700 in sales to $4,000 in sales. So pretty good little pop. My guess is that when, you know, platforms make changes, it impacts some people more than others, but they'll probably adjust some things as we move forward. So if you're down on Poshmark, you know, I would just say a dose of patience, but also a dose of double check the fundamentals. And I'll just leave it at that. Awesome Q4 for you. What did I miss? Did I miss something? Maybe not. I don't know. I already got to that question. Happy to answer your questions. Happy to address the Posh things. Sometimes I don't have all the answers, or maybe not the perfect answer, but I'll share what I think or what I know. And if I don't know, I'll just tell you, frick, I don't know. But we really don't know what will shake out from the Poshmark changes. But at the end of the day, one thing I do know is that good photos, good keywords, those sorts of things, those are going to win. I mean, those are going to help your business no matter what they do with the algorithm, no matter what. You know, I wonder if I sold these Levi's 505s. These are vintage Y2K or vintage 90s. Sorry. What year were these? I have to look at the listing. Vintage 1999. So vintage 90s or Y2K Levi's right here. So people think everything vintage isn't necessarily going to get you rich. There's still a lot of quantity or a lot of supply available of Y2K Levi's out there, because if you look at Levi's annual sales in like 1999 and compared it to like say 1960, it's probably like 10 times the sales, right? They're also, you know, younger, so they're probably still around. You know, there's just a ton more of these available in the market. So they're not worth a ton of money, but they are worth a few extra dollars on top of regular Levi's, like modern Levi's. I typically sell modern Levi's for $20 to $23. This pair sold for $26. So there we go. And it's a 505. This is the regular straight men's size 34. The black color does sell a little bit better for me on average than the blue color, but I wouldn't say like crazy difference. It just seems like it's a little bit quicker of a seller. Anyway, $26 on those. But if these, you know, if these jeans were more like say 1992, they'd probably get a little bit more money, maybe more like $30, 32 for $34. And if they were 80s, I'd get a little bit more than that. If they're 70s, I'll get a little bit more than that. So the age does make a difference, but they do qualify as vintage. They are 26 years old. Most clothing sellers refer to items that are over 20 years old as vintage, but they're not like crazy old. But they're still worth a couple extra bucks. So nice sale right there. So I'm kind of thinking, and I'm just thinking out loud here. So most of you know that about 5 months ago, I switched to I've been using Nifty for 18 months, but about 5 months ago, I started using their AI listing generation tool, which means I take the photos, I take the measurements, I upload those photos into Nifty, and then Nifty writes the item title and writes the description for me too. Included in that description, they put a whole bunch of keywords down below at the bottom. And I love that because I know that keywords are huge for search results. Search results aren't just the search engine isn't just looking at the item title. It's also looking at what's in the description as well. So maybe with that switch in the algorithm that Poshmark recently made, maybe they're putting more emphasis on keywords in the description than they are in the past. Now, I don't know this to be true. All I know is my store, which all my listings have, you know, all that keyword stuff in them, at least anything I've listed in the last 5 months. So maybe that's part of it. You know, maybe the search engine is more focused on, you know, all those words and phrases that are in the item description. I don't have any insight into this at all. I'm just sort of thinking like, what am I doing maybe that's different than other people? Somebody who's way down on Poshmark. Well, I mean, 18% is way up in 1 month. So maybe that's it. I just don't know. I don't have the inside info. I'm just sort of like spitballing what might be the solution there. But part of their change, at least what they said about their algorithm change, was there's going to be a little bit less emphasis on sharing and a little bit more emphasis on listing quality. They didn't necessarily describe like what listing quality really means, but maybe they did. Let's look at that maybe in a minute. I want to get the rest of the shipping done. I do have a couple of Amazon orders to get out. This first one is, you're not really going to be able to see it. It's a Columbia fleece. I picked these up clearance. I picked up 3 of them clearance, and this is the second one to sell. Technically, it's the third one to sell. I got it returned, and now it's sold again. So this sold for 90. I want to say, what did it sell for? Oh, it tells me on this little thing. It sold for $97.98, and I paid $55 for it. The other one I sold for like $118, but the price has come down a little bit. Anyway, sometimes I'll take like a flyer on stuff like that, and this one wasn't really the best flyer. I need to grab more of my big bags for this, so I'll have to go out to the garage again. I can ship this one though. I got 2 more Amazon orders. This one's going overseas, or sorry, this one's going to I guess a military facility. So it has to have this big silly label. It's got the like the customs declaration. You need to have a customs declaration on these orders that are going to military facilities, U.S. military. I couldn't get this to print out on my 4x6 printer, so I had to print it on like an 8.5 by 11. So we'll get this shipped out. This is a pair of Dockers signature khakis. I don't really sell these much on eBay, but I do pick them up and sell them on Amazon. This sold for $35.85. I picked them up on a retail clearance. Where are those bags? Am I out of those bags too? We have to go to the garage. I'm out of 2-size shipping bags. All right, I got to go grab more shipping bags. How did I run out of just like two sizes? I guess I did ship a lot today, so give me a second. Let me go grab those. Another trip to the garage. All right, thanks for holding. We're back with shipping supplies. All right, Chris, don't get these all mixed up. All right, the Columbia is going to fit in this big 14.5 by 19. Ooh, just barely. That's a big jacket. So this is going to Ridgewood, New York, to Jalen. The biggest kind of challenge with selling on Amazon is the crazy high return rate, particularly like on clothing. So this one already got returned once. Hopefully it doesn't come back this time. Because on these returns, you got to pay for shipping in both directions, which all it takes is kind of one return on an item to really eat up the margin on that. All right, this next one's Sean. These are those Dockers going out. Dockers has been a good seller for me on Amazon, not so much on eBay and Poshmark. You've probably heard me say this before, but it's the really common brands that tend to sell really well for me on Amazon. The Columbias, the Haggars, the Levi's. I'm going to have to tape this label on old school style. What's up, Nebraska? The Nebraska hanger. Outsourcing Burr. Did you get some like snow and stuff out of this storm that's creeping across the north? Did that get y'all too? All right, out the door on those Dockers on Amazon. Those are going USPS priority overseas. And then next is, this is a brand, a rare example of like a higher end brand that sells really well on Amazon too. Smartwool. I sell these a lot on eBay and Poshmark as well, but this here is a Smartwool women's digi plaid pecan colored little base layer piece. The retail on this is $115. And this sold for $79.67. I have sold some of these in different colors and sizes for over $100, but this one sold for that 76 amount. We'll take it. I would have rather it sold for like 109. Some of these I sell for like retail or like a couple of dollars short of retail. That's what's kind of weird about Amazon as opposed to eBay. A lot of new tag stuff you're selling for like 50-60% off, but on Amazon some things you can sell really close to retail. Not all the time, but some of the time. It's going to Miami, Florida. Thank you, Anna, for your business. Let's go on Ground Advantage. How are sales, folks? How was the weekend? How was Thanksgiving? We have been live for so long. I'm almost out of words. What more do you talk about reselling than what we've already talked about? So that's a wrap. I have shipped everything. That's over 60 orders from the past 6 days. Might have been closer to 70 orders. I have to order some more of these big bags. You got some snow up there too. All stocked up. All right, that's it. I mean, this is all, that bin's full, that bag's full, and you can see there's just like a pile of stuff. And the post office lady already picked up. She probably took with her, I don't know, 20 or so packages, that full bin's worth of packages already. So that's what 6 days of shipping looks like. That's why I don't love taking a lot of time away from the store, because then you come home and it's like, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff to ship. But obviously I'm grateful for every order. It was a really strong weekend of business. Great November. Really happy. November ended up being the third best month so far this year. It'll probably be the third best. I usually have a good December, but the problem is December kind of gets chopped off basically at the 17th or the 18th. I think 17th this year is the USPS Ground Advantage deadline for shipping stuff to get it to get it on time for Christmas. So we have 17 days till that cutoff, which is kind of crazy. It tends to be a really good 17 days of sales. And then I see a pretty significant downturn, usually like 17th and 18th, like whatever day it is, it usually kind of drops off. I can actually look at it exactly from last year, just to give you an idea of like what some of you I know are going through your first holiday season. Of course, every store is a little bit different, but I can share with you what my daily sales kind of dropped off from early December to post 17th. So yeah, really looks like I'm averaging about, really good, like averaging about 12 sales a day through the first really 18 days. The 17th I had 10 sales. The 18th I had 10 sales. The 19th I dropped to 5. So that was it's right after that like deadline to get stuff delivered by Christmas. People are just in a shopping frenzy, spending all their money, right? Thank you, Edward. And then you get to the 19th and, I dropped to 5 sales, 4 sales, 8 sales, 11 sales. The 23rd, I had 1 sale, then 2 on Christmas Eve, 3 on Christmas Day, 5 on the 26th, 6 on the 27th, 6 on the 28th, 6 on the 8 on the 29th, and then 10 on the 30th, 10 on the 31st. So I basically went from averaging for the first 18 days, I averaged about 12 sales a day. Then I dropped to averaging about 6 sales a day. Is pretty much what it drops to, 6.5 sales a day. So that's about a 50% drop. So I'm going to expect that this year I'll probably average around 11. That's what I averaged for November, was about 11 sales a day. Let me see. Month. So for November, I averaged 10.7 sales per day. I would expect I'll have about that for the next 17 days. And then I would expect it to drop down to probably something like 6 to 7 sales a day after that. So now's the time. If you're going to get stuff up and listed, particularly, wintertime stuff, now is the time. November or January does tend to be a pretty good month of sales for me. It's like an average to above average month of sales. It's strong. February sucks, but so if you want to get your wintertime stuff sold, the next 17 days is your best time to do it, because you'll probably see a pretty good, if you're selling a lot of clothing, then you'll probably see a pretty good bonk, pretty good dip right after that shipping deadline that will persist probably until the new year. And then you'll probably see it kind of pick up. At least that's the way I typically see it. What's up, Tina? And again, everybody's store is a little bit different. But that's what I see, and that I expect it to be about the same this year. It's been a great Q4, so to speak. I'm really happy with the sales results, particularly the last particular October, November have been really good. I'm happy about it. All right, y'all. I've been live for 3 hours and 47 minutes, which I think might be a new moon record for me. So I'm going to sign off here in a minute. Remember, all these lives are available as a replay. So as soon as I end this live, you can rewatch this, you can fast forward, you can rewind, and all that stuff. And I'll get back to all those questions and comments on the replay as well. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate the vibes over there, New Bar. Thank you. I see you. Appreciate you saying that you look forward to the Monday lives. I do too. I get to hang out with you for a little bit. I will say 3 hours and 48 minutes is a long live stream. And I'm going to go eat a snack and go to the post office. I hope everybody has an awesome day. Have a great week. We'll see you again next Monday, around 11 a.m.-ish Eastern time. And
until then, have a great week of sales, find some great stuff, and keep that hustle strong, because we only got 17 days to that USPS ground advantage cutoff date, which is pretty wild. Peace.